The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
And welcome into the Thursday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Hope everybody's doing well. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing okay. We did have a little bit of an emergency this morning. And this, I don't remember last time this happened, but opened up that tin of coffee and I left enough for Katie to make a small cup, to get her to 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So had to stop and get coffee. But other than that, we're good. We got the coffee from an unnamed source.
Well, Joe's nicer than me. I took the last K-Cup this morning, so
Jeez.
Ryan has none.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
coffee in a Christmas cup, too. When it started.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's absolute 100% like it's December 23rd in there. Come on.
Unbelievable.
That needs to be a rant coming up, fellas.
It's rant worthy. But I don't blame you for taking the last K-Cup from Ryan. Ryan's not scary like Katie, man.
Listen, I'm Katie in this situation, but listen, the rule really quick. If you share coffee, if you take the second to last one, I think that is your responsibility to get the new coffee.
That's fair. Yeah.
So that's on you.
Yeah. But I left her a little bit, but I'm gonna buy some on the way home. Promise.
There we go. Well, I'm glad you both got your coffee. We know what it's like when you don't have it.
You know
Terrifying.
It's necessary. Yeah, know it's necessary.
I'm glad you both have it. We got a lot to get to on the program here today. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up later this hour at 6:45. Our good friend Jared Stillman joining the show at 7 o'clock, so Joe can gloat in his second consecutive victory against Jared. Predators head coach John Hines coming up at 8:30 live from Calgary. So looking forward to that conversation. Bred's got some problems right now, and they'll try to get things corrected tonight as they take on the Calgary Flames. And then we'll have Seth Emerson from The Athletic coming up to discuss Tennessee and Georgia. And Joe, speaking of Tennessee and Georgia, I'm nerding out over this game. So, I watched the entire Kirby Smart press conference and Josh Heupel and all this other stuff, and I'm looking at Georgia film on YouTube. I've lost my mind.
Oh, nice.
Heading into this game. The more I look at it, and the more, I read David Ubben's piece yesterday too, where he's talking to, anonymous coordinators and coaches throughout college football. It was really, really good. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out on theathletic.com. But the more I look at this game, and I know we've talked about the underrated matchup of Georgia's offense and Tennessee's defense, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'm really looking forward to Georgia's DBs and Tennessee's wide receivers, because I don't think there's some big secret as to what it's going to be. And Kirby Smart's pretty much already said it this week. It's we're going to have to do what we do better than what they do. It's going to be man-on-man, wide receivers, defensive backs this week between Tennessee and Georgia, and I'm fired up about it. I think it's going to be awesome. Georgia's defensive backs can run. They don't bust their coverages very often, and David Ubben's talked to a few different coaches that have kind of highlighted that they don't make mistakes. They don't bust coverages all that much. And Tennessee's good at getting people to have some bust in their coverage back there, but I am fired up for Tennessee's wide receivers taking on Georgia's defensive backs. That's my takeaway from my film study yesterday.
Yeah.
Hashtag Robby's Film Room.
Oh, man. Don't get started with Jared on the film room. Man, he gets very sensitive.
He was.
Don't try to.
Are you sure you watched the all 22?
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't take notes on every play. I'm sorry, Jared.
There's no Joe's film room, okay?
Yeah, there's no Joe's film room. But the Robby's film room sounds fun. No, it's going to be fascinating. This Ubben piece, which was very good. The content is being cranked out this week, which it should be. I think there's also some people quoted in here that I'm like I said, I mentioned it yesterday. I quoted Dave McGinnis, who's like, it's incredibly complex in it, and then someone's like, it's just Baylor system, it's simple, it's not true. So some of these guys, you have to understand, they have their own teams and whatever, and maybe they're not totally pouring themselves into this. But this quote right here from a coordinator, okay, it's a real quick one, but I'm like, I stopped on it. I'm like, He says, okay, okay. So, well, here's the quote. Quote, Georgia can give them issues in the run game. Everyone focuses on the pass game, but what makes the Baylor offense go is the run game. I think Georgia can take away the run game, but where they'll have issues is covering these guys in the secondary. Keely Ringo, one of the best corners in the country, but there's a drop-off after him, and they have some depth issues at corner. That's Georgia's only weakness. So second part goes to your point. I think Georgia can take away the run game. Okay, show me. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure I buy that. You got to dominate up front across the board, basically, to do that. They're not going to devote, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will. It may look more like Pittsburgh, which the safeties were super aggressive, and they got away with it for the most part. But they're not just going to – I don't think Georgia's just going to dominate Tennessee's offensive line. I think some people think that.
Yeah, I think some people think that too. And, look, it could happen, I guess. But Tennessee's offensive line's held up against everybody, and I mean everybody so far. So, and I would go beyond held up. They've done well against everybody so far. So, if you're Josh Heupel and that offense, you've got to be feeling pretty good about your offensive line heading into this game. There was another quote from a coordinator that stood out to me, and it said, quote, Tennessee runs that switch vertical 8 times a game. When you're running that play and you've got the receivers they've got and the quarterback they've got, it's kind of unstoppable. That was the quote from a coordinator. I was like, oh, okay, we'll see.
Well, yeah, but it's incredible how often it works, right? We just saw Kentucky get crossed up, and we saw Alabama get crossed up. But again, it's that's the stuff that you would expect Georgia to at least handle correctly. So at least it's a battle downfield, right?
And the one thing, the more you watch Tennessee play offensively, so I spent an hour and a half yesterday just watching different routes that they run.
Robbie's
I love that for you.
It was bad, man. I got it. This game needs to hurry up and happen because I don't know what I'm going to do today out there.
That's awesome.
But, Josh Heupel, just the more you look at it, and Alex Golesh, how they set things up, off the same look, how they set 5 different things up is just pretty incredible. And, I think they ran a play, I think it was against UT Martin, where you got Ramel Keaton basically running up the field, and he comes to a complete stop they're running in the RPO, and he just takes off running. There's no one within 30 yards of him out there. It's just different stuff like that they're setting things up that I think Josh Heupel and Alex Golesh are really good at that. Is sometimes I think there are play calls specifically in mind of, we know we're probably not going to get a ton on this play, but we're setting this one up for later when we're taking the deep shot. And that happens all the time.
No doubt. Tennessee. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's kind of it's kind of like McVay Shanahan kind of thing, which by the way brings me to Tony Romo the other day talking about NFL coming after Heupel. You worried? Let's add that to the plate.
I guess I would be, to answer your question, if you're a Tennessee fan, I would be more worried about that than I would be from him. This idea that he's just going to pick up and go to Oklahoma. I don't see it.
They're not firing Brent Venables in a year or 2 years. They're giving Brent Venables his chance to be the coach.
Right. So I guess I'd be more worried about the NFL than that. The thing I come back to is, would this offense really work in the NFL based on how much the hash marks are a part of it and, how you have to line up with your splits that wide? You can't do that in the NFL. I don't know.
Yes, I agree. No, there's some things that in particular makes it different. Look, the run and shoot, which talking to McGinnis saw that basically the inventor of it, Miles Davis, Barry Sanders, which according to him, there's a lot of stuff that didn't get in my story either, but according to him, he used to ask those guys about the running plays. There's no running play. It's called the sprint draw, and just cover up your guy, and Barry just go do something crazy. That's it.
Yeah.
But their pass offense was as wide as you could get. So basically, it was very much what this is, but it was 4 wide only, 10 personnel, no tight ends, no fullbacks, and it was read the coverage after the snap and as wide as you can go. And eventually, I will say, one reason that offense died in the NFL is because back then you could annihilate quarterbacks.
Correct.
And you could headhunt receivers over the middle. And I mean, that's what basically what teams did against the Lions is like Rodney Peete. It's like, okay, you're going to have 5 linemen and Barry out there and then 4 receivers. Okay, well, then we'll just hit him every time until he wants to quit. So you can't do that now.
No.
So, I mean, look, I think the air raid, if you listen to Mike Leach, he's like, the NFL is an air raid league. I mean, that's what it is. Like, I mean, the Patriots of 07 brought that in. All these teams copied it, and there's a lot of it.
Titans.
What's that?
The Titans.
The Titans.
Big air raid team.
Yeah. Yeah.
On full display Sunday.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just kidding.
But could more of this get in there? It's interesting. I will say, though, even if it's not this offense, when you are as good as what you just said, at setting up plays, setting up defenses, sequencing things, staying ahead of D coordinators, people notice that too. I mean, it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. I don't think he'd be interested in the NFL.
I think Heupel's a college football guy. That makes sense. Like, I'm not saying he could never be lured to the NFL. I mean, look, Spurrier went to the NFL. Saban went to the NFL, and I'm not trying to compare Josh Heupel to Steve Spurrier.
Saban was always in his mind. He was always going to be an NFL head coach, though.
Yes.
And then he realized, oh no, I go and just get the best
all the
players.
Time.
Yeah. Actually, that is better, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about Heupel that just gives me college football vibes. If that makes any sense.
I agree, but that does not mean Jared will stop railing about this and how it's going to happen. Jared is
just
so desperate. Well, he's just desperate for the Tennessee to have its downfall one way or the other.
Yeah, he's not very happy with Tennessee fans being happy, according to.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, shut up.
I'm sure he's not the only one.
Yeah, but you don't have to I was actually uncomfortable. I was about to hang up on him. Stop, man.
615-737-1025. We're off and running here today on Robby and Rexrode. We're looking ahead to Tennessee and Georgia. I'm going to throw this question out there. Can Hendon Hooker win the Heisman Trophy on Saturday against Georgia? We'll get into that coming up next. 615-737-1025. You can start NFL Week 9 off the right way with a no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And it doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Big one tonight on Thursday Night Football. The Houston Texans in their battle red helmets taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to be a barn burner out there for the Eagles. Give me the Eagles on the money line. Give me Miles Sanders over on rushing yards. Give me Jalen Hurts as an anytime touchdown rushing the football as well. But you can take it any way you want to take it. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Just sign up with promo code ROB if you don't already have an account. If you do already have FanDuel, you're all set. Just sign in to see what you've got. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet of $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
The Sports Talk doesn't end on Friday. Join Michelle Knezovic and Junie Riddle for Michelle and Junie.
Have they truly been tested yet?
I really want this to be a good game.
Michelle and Junie, every Saturday morning at 9. Presented by Superbook Sports and the Nashville Jam Company.
I think Junie and I are going to go hit breakfast/brunch there after the show.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The final matchup of the Tennessee basketball team's 3-game series with Colorado is coming to Nashville. Don't miss the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Colorado Buffaloes at Bridgestone Arena Sunday, November 13th. Be there to witness your Volunteers in action as they look to run their all-time record against Colorado to 5-0. Sunday, November 13th, Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Red Cap.
Black Friday deals are here earlier than ever at Electronic Express. Come into our convenient locations for great deals on all of your favorite brands like Samsung, GE, Microsoft, Cuisinart, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, housewares, furniture, mattresses, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com and get free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
When I came to Genesis, I was completely shocked and surprised.
That's Tara Michelle, but like so many of her customers, she's made the switch to Genesis.
Now working at Genesis, I'm able to offer my customers more inventory, more selection, better pricing, better warranties and guarantees.
And Tara loves that now she's got access to the top designers and all the latest ring styles. Over 4,000 choices.
The picture that she's captured on Instagram, they show me that picture. I don't have just one option for them. I have plenty. And we're going to hit it out of the park every single time. I'm not only getting the customers exactly what they want style-wise, but the price is going to be unbeatable. Without a doubt, hands down.
And unlike the other stores, Tara's not working on commission at Genesis, so less stress for everyone.
I'm not putting pressure on the customer to purchase because no one's putting pressure on me to sell. I have the freedom to make it a personal experience for them.
Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
CSX Transportation is an industry leader on the move. The railroad company has immediate openings for freight train conductors. Join the CSX team and start your paid-on-the-job training today, earning nearly $25 per hour with no degree required. If you're safety-focused with a passion for great service, you've got what it takes to move your career forward at CSX. Apply at csx.com/careers. That's csx.com/careers. CSX is an equal opportunity employer.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Looking ahead to Tennessee and Georgia coming up, and we've gone through a lot of the matchups this week so far, Joe, and one of the things that we've not talked that much about yet this week is what's on the line for Hendon Hooker, and I believe the Athletic straw poll last week, was it 36 of 37 that had Hendon Hooker in first place for the Heisman Trophy race? I believe that's right.
Yes, we had 30. And so there's this, real quick, there's this guy, some like Volin, Texas dude who hates my guts, who thinks I'm like a Vanderbilt fan.
Okay.
So I've muted him. But he tweeted at Ubben and me. He's like, which was it at David Ubben or at Joe Rexrode who voted for someone other than Hendon Hooker?
Yeah.
And so Ubben made some joke, and I unmuted him real quick to look at him, and then I just muted him back up. So I would like to know. I would like to know who at the Athletic has not voted for Hendon Hooker right now to be number one. In fact, do you remember? I don't remember who got the other vote. Stroud?
I'm sure it was Stroud. Yeah.
So, 36 to 37.
I don't know who else it'd be at this point.
And all these people are voters, too, by the way. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is directly to the votes. I mean, he is the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. And, yes, I'm going to answer your question right now.
Okay.
He can win it Saturday.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So, in the regular season, this is the last big game that he's going to have. And, C.J. Stroud, they've still got the Michigan game coming up in Ohio State. There's going to be moments for other candidates, but this is kind of that last big one for Hendon Hooker coming up on Saturday against Georgia. He handled it well against Alabama, obviously. Played really well in that game. He's got a chance, I think, for this one to mean a little bit more because, number one, it's later in the season, so the stakes are a little bit higher. And number two, it's on the road. It's on the road taking on Georgia. If you can go on the road taking on the defending national champions and come out with a win and play really well in that game, I think you got a chance to really put yourself in a good spot to be the Heisman Trophy winner coming up this Saturday if you're Hendon Hooker.
Yeah. Look, he will be if he plays like he's been playing, the offense plays like it's been playing, and they win like they've been winning, he'll be the overwhelming favorite. And obviously you could always have a stumble after that. So if you have a stumble, and I'm just going to roll my eyes as I say, if you have a stumble against Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, then okay, we'll have a new discussion. The Heisman comes out December 10th, so their conference championship games do factor in. I've voted based on that before. Trying to think. In fact, it was very recently.
Devontae Smith, wasn't it?
Yes, thank you. Yes, and he dominated that game. Like, that's it. He's the guy. So look, I mean, could Hooker then go into like a rematch with Alabama, and they, Will Anderson sacks him 4 times, and all of a sudden they score 17 points, and meanwhile C.J. Stroud has blown out Michigan and has gone nuts. I mean, it's possible, but I'd put Hendon Hooker with the same basically performance that he's been having against this defense, as you laid out, who it is, where it is. I'm putting him above 90% to flat out win the thing.
Well, let me ask you this: What if this game is 48-45 and Georgia wins, and Hendon Hooker's great in the game?
That's a great question. It's a great question, and then he absolutely still has a chance. I think where it would be tough is just if Stroud and Ohio State just rip through everyone. Then I think Stroud still may win it. Because whether you like it or not, in wins, that's not a QB stat, but I think a lot of people still get swayed by that. If you're the best, quote unquote, best player on the best team, right?
Right.
So it would be really close because I still think you could make a case. We're just talking about the best player. Let's remember what Tennessee is, where they came from. Let's remember, look at Tennessee's defense, okay? I mean, Ohio State's defense has a 5-star at every position. I mean, it's like Alabama and Georgia right now. Like they have the talent level is different. So winning and also, by the way, they play in the Big Ten, which is pretty bad this year. Like there's a lot of arguments you could start making back at people, but if Stroud had a spectacular game against Michigan, one of those, then the door would be opened if that happens, and that may be what happens.
Well, it could be. I mean, I can absolutely envision a scenario on Saturday where Tennessee and their offense plays pretty well, and Hendon Hooker plays pretty well, not perfect, but pretty well, and they lose. I mean, that could absolutely happen on Saturday. So, I mean, there's a lot at stake. I mean, we've talked about the different playoff scenarios. I do think if Tennessee goes on the road and in the same year they take down Alabama and Georgia and Hendon Hooker plays the way he played against Bama, maybe even without the interception, the one interception that he's thrown so far, I mean, you're going to be hard-pressed to top that, I think, if you're C.J. Stroud or anybody else. I mean, just based on opportunity. Like, C.J. Stroud's got Michigan left on the schedule, and they're a good defense. But even if he goes out and dominates Michigan, is that better than taking down Alabama and Georgia in the same year? I don't think so.
No.
So,
and I'll say another argument, which is it's kind of the NFL argument too. Is the whole system QB thing. Some people will throw that out there. Well, okay, tell me about Stroud's system. I mean, come on. I mean, I guess you can. You can look at a team like Georgia if you want and say that's more of like a pro-style approach or somehow that, if you don't look back to the sideline ever, some people hold that against QBs, but most quarterbacks in college football do now. So that one is – some people will try to make the argument. I reject it.
Well, and I've heard this argument too, which I don't buy into because you could make the same argument for Ohio State. Like I've heard the argument of, well, Jalen Hyatt's success is actually taken away from Hendon Hooker in like the Heisman race because there could be more attention to Jalen Hyatt based on the production that he's had. And I was like, I don't think Jalen Hyatt's going to win the Heisman.
No.
I think it would go to – I think Hooker is actually benefiting from having Jalen Hyatt. That's just me.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud's got a few good wide receivers too. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, exactly. Have Alabama quarterbacks won any Heismans? Because their receivers have been kind of okay.
They're pretty good
in recent years. Yeah,
they've even had a receiver win a Heisman.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Hey,
I tell you what, if Hyatt has 5 touchdowns against Georgia, then he may be.
Well, you know what?
Well, he may get to New York with Hooker.
He might,
but he'd still finish like 4th.
I don't know. You have 5 touchdowns against Georgia and Alabama. Maybe we need to start talking about something else.
Well, okay, but if that's the case, though, and again, I don't want to take anything away from Jalen Hyatt, can he have some touchdowns where there's a defender on the screen with him?
I just want to point out, in the Athletic Heisman Trophy odds, which came out yesterday. This came out yesterday. Jalen Hyatt is number 10 right now in the Heisman Trophy odds. There's Hendon Hooker at 1, Stroud, and then Williams from USC, Corum from Michigan. You can go down the list. Bo Nix is on there. Bryce Young's 8th on this list. And then Jalen Hyatt, slightly ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. He's in the top 10.
Well, hey, big day Saturday. Maybe you can get top 5. You never know. The Bryce Young thing to me. And look, I admit I didn't have him on my radar really. Because he'd missed time, and he just won it last year. But after that game in Knoxville, I'm like, yeah, that dude's no lower than second on my thing. I have him second, and I have Stroud third.
I mean, the dude's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I think I always wonder about this because I do think too often in college football, what a game in November is weighed way more heavily than a game in September. And I think sometimes – I mean, you can have huge games in September and people just forget about it. But I will say, I mean, it's late enough in the season now where you got 2 undefeated SEC teams going on the road to Georgia. If he plays well and Tennessee wins, I'm calling it. Hendon Hooker's winning the Heisman Trophy. That's my prediction.
All right. So it's your pre-called shot.
It's my pre-called shot for tomorrow.
I think you're right.
615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get into the Titans. Some news on the injury front yesterday, some of which could be very good for the Titans. That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Want a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Preds game?
Yes.
Tune in to Robby and Rexrode every weekday Preds game day at 8:45 for Preds Pick to Click. Guess a goal scorer and win.
I'll take Roman Yost.
Matt Duchene. Pick to Click is brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Visit tjandersonhomes.com to see why they are referred so often. And by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
Preds Pick to Click.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Attention sportsmen. This November 8th, hunting is on the ballot. The Biden administration continues to close millions of acres of public land to hunting, and now D.C. liberals are banning common ammunition. Joe Biden and the enablers pulling his strings won't stop until you're only allowed to hunt in your backyard with a slingshot. On November 8th, it's critical for Tennessee sportsmen and women to go hunting with their votes and elect Andy Ogles to Congress. We need a congressman who will stand up to the liberal left and fight for the rights of Tennessee hunters and gun owners. Andy Ogles will be a champion for the rights of Tennessee sportsmen and women. Andy Ogles will protect hunting access, our Second Amendment rights, and our hunting heritage. Vote Andy Ogles for Congress, November 8th. Hunter Action Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. 4800 Westgate Pass Road, Tucson, Arizona, 85745.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Fall means cooler weather is coming. Make sure your family is warm in your home with this special deal from Hiller. This month, take advantage of Hiller's Happy HVAC Comfort Bundle, which includes an HVAC replacement, germicidal UV light, extended 10-year warranty, and you'll get a free solo smokeless stove. Or get a free solo stove with a new whole home generator or whole home water filtration and de-escalator. Plus, Hiller is offering 0 interest for up to 12 months on these purchases. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be Your Services Free Guarantee. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Why wait to save? Dell Technologies' Black Friday event arrives early with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 48% off performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Castrol Edge can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $38.99. Get everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's up, Nashville? This is Stephen A. Smith. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up at 6:45. Jared Stillman joining the program here at 7 o'clock, so looking forward to all that. Right now, talking a little Tennessee Titans football, taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe, some interesting news on the injury report yesterday and some good news for the Titans overall. Elijah Molden and his window to return has been activated. So good news on that front. I don't know if that necessarily means that he's playing on Sunday against Kansas City, but he is in that window to be activated off of injured reserve. So good to see Elijah Molden apparently making some progress. And, you know, we've thought about this all year. What could the defense look like if you have Fulton on the outside, McCreary on the outside, Elijah Molden playing at the nickel spot, and Amani Hooker back at safety? Like, what could that look like for this team? And hopefully we could be getting closer to finding out. Now, on the Amani Hooker front, did not practice yesterday with a shoulder injury, so not good news there for the Titans.
Yeah, so it's you get sort of the some good here, but then some bad there. Yeah, Hooker, that's not a great sign. Now it is Wednesday. I mean, Jeff Simmons with the ankle, to me that's just like got a little bit of a tender ankle. We saw last week.
Ain't worried about him.
He seems to be okay. There's other Jeffrey Simmons things that we'll talk about later that are very interesting going on. Shout out Dan Pompey, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Had people scrambling yesterday. Yeah, Hooker shoulder, that's not great. I mean, that's the one thing on the injury report that you're like, ooh. I mean, Brewer with the toe limited. I mean, Derrick Henry, foot limited. Do you worry about that?
I mean, it caught my eye yesterday. I don't think it's a huge deal. Like, it kind of reads to me as we're just going to give him a really light day after carrying the ball 30-some-odd times the other day. But
the word
anytime
foot.
the word foot shows up with Derrick Henry, I will say it got me a little worried, a little concerned yesterday with him on the injury report.
So Rashad Weaver, full participant with the back, so he should be back playing this week. He also I know Glennon, I think TD and Glennon for sure asked him about the IG post. Basically said
Kaharski was there too. Yeah,
Kaharski, yeah, they talked it out. Everybody's cool.
Yeah.
Vrabel's like, I'd
love to have seen that conversation.
Yeah, Vrabel's like, man, I mean, if you're going to do that, do it on TikTok, not Insta, okay? Yeah. It's way better on TikTok. Yeah. I don't know. I'd love to know. Like, if Vrabel's on Twitter. He's not on anything else, is he? Does Vrabel have an
TikTok.
Insta? Oh, that's right. Vrabel is on TikTok because of recipes. Yeah, that's right.
That'd be so funny if Rashad just popped up on his page and he saw that.
Can you see, like, Vrabel making one of these TikTok dances that go around? Just him out there just doing his thing on TikTok?
No, but I could see him maybe, cooking something up, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I might even do that. Have a little cook-off with Vrabel. Vrabel's like, I'm going to cook up some more fines for you, Rashad, if you keep talking trash about the Titans organization on social media.
In all seriousness, I wonder what that conversation was like. Like, I bet it wasn't very long. And it's Vrabel like, hey, don't do that again, with some other words thrown in there, would be my guess.
That's a great fly on the wall moment right
Definitely
there.
some other words thrown in there.
That would be fun, yeah. And then Tannehill, of course, with the ankle and kind of clarified, that it was that and not really the illness, they kept him out of the Texans game. So limited. What's that mean? He was said to be limited last week too. Didn't
he
play.
was, but he was a DNP last Wednesday. So a little bit of a difference there.
Okay.
Now, Vrabel said he was
point.
going to be limited last Wednesday, and then he did not practice.
That's right. He was. Yeah, Vrabel's like limited. He's like as in limited to nothing. So now apparently he's limited to something.
Something out there. So I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, Joe, you could view that as progress for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Well, you would think. Look, if it's not like the high ankle sprain, which again, like if that's the case, then it's several weeks.
Yeah.
You just forget about it. And I honestly think that maybe, as much as I argued with Jared yesterday, the backup quarterback, it's just like, dude, who are they getting? Who is he pushing? Oh, Sean Mannion. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Go get Sean Mannion. As much as like there's really no great answer, if they knew that Tannehill, like, it was a high ankle sprain and he had to be out for weeks, maybe I think they may have done something.
Yeah.
Because you're not winning any more games with Malik Willis at quarterback. You're winning the one game that you can go run on a team like they're an FCS team, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, you could win maybe the next Texans game. That's about it.
Right. So, yeah. But in that game, if they have Tannehill in any semblance of a passing game, then the NFL single season record or a single game record is absolutely up for grabs.
Oh, and by the way, Rashad Weaver was back on the field yesterday as a full participant with the back injury. So, looks like he's on track to be back out there coming up on Sunday against Kansas City. So, good to see on that front. The Hooker thing is concerning to me. Like he was, he just got back in there. I mean, I think you could tell what a difference he makes. Now, he made a difference in the Colts game that we didn't really expect with him playing the nickel spot and not at safety. But I think it's pretty clear that this defense is way better when Amani Hooker's on the field. And for him to leave the game on Sunday with the shoulder and then not practice yesterday, not a great sign. Definitely something to be paying attention to today. If he's not out there again today, that's not great for Amani Hooker.
Yeah, if he doesn't get upgraded to a limited today, that's probably not going to happen. And this is not the matchup where you want to be missing an Amani Hooker.
It is not.
I will say, Andrew Adams is making quite a few plays out there.
He is.
Andrew Adams has been a nice pickup. He really has been. But there's still a drop off, obviously. And this is I've been waiting to see this Titan secondary kind of look like an amoeba. Didn't you say one of your buddies went in as an amoeba for Halloween?
Yeah.
When a secondary it's a great costume, but when a secondary has all its pieces and the communication is seamless and you can play man, zone, disguise, mix it up, you got to be, in a matchup like this, you got to be so good. At some point, I think we're going to see that. This would be one of those games where it would really help to. Now, another thing to keep in mind, is Elijah Molden going to be a little rusty? Is he going to come out and, if he plays this week, he's going to come out and play a full game? I don't know.
I would be surprised.
Yeah. But I would guess that he would play at this point. I know it's a 3-week window, but he's been out a long time.
Yes.
So it reads to me like he'll probably have a role Sunday.
And that would be good news for the Titans. Hopefully you can stay healthy and build on that. Speaking of staying healthy, the biggest takeaway I had from the injury report yesterday, Joe, was somebody who wasn't on it. And I've been asking for Bud Dupree not to be on the injury report, and it was good to see the injury report come out yesterday, and he's not on it. That's a very good sign for the Titans.
Absolutely. No, I was gonna say that, and also, a guy who's been on it a lot this year. Actually, two guys. One of whom should just have it's like a permanent parking spot for the CEO, Ben Jones.
Yeah.
But also Nate Davis has been on it a lot, and he's off it. If you go through some film breakdown, which no one doesn't like #Jared's Film Room,
That's right.
but there was some. Man, every offensive lineman, including Daly, by the way, had some run blocking moments. Aaron Brewer, for all the things that he isn't, he's never going to be, big as most guys and all that stuff. Man, is he athletic. He gets to multiple people, but Nate Davis too, as a masher. So that's going to be interesting. That's probably the healthiest then. Again, Brewer's got the toe limited, but let's see today. Might be as healthy as this offensive line's been in a while. If Nate Davis is just away from the injury report, Ben Jones is too. What does that mean against Kansas City, running the football?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we know that you're going to try to run the football anyway. Now, again, one thing I will be paying attention to today, like, is Derrick Henry limited today at practice again with the toe injury? Or the foot injury, excuse me. If it's, I don't think too many people were freaking out about it yesterday, because when you come off a game like that and you get the ball as many times as he does, I think it's easy to just be like, okay, just rest him a little bit. But
just
also,
put body on the injury report.
But it's also one of those things too, where if it was just like a rest day, when they just say that on the injury report, the foot thing means something to me, and that kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, it's something to watch, that's for sure. Because look, Dontrell Hilliard. It's funny because they do, even with the Dontrell Hilliard story this year, people ignoring that when they talk about the Titans. And they also drafted Hassan Haskins high, and I think Hassan Haskins, if he got opportunities, could be an effective runner.
Yeah.
But that's not what you want if you're the Titans right now.
No, that is not what you want. The Titans have come out with a bunch of videos this week. They had Derrick Henry mic'd up in the game against the Texans, and they had this shot on the sideline of Vrabel in the huddle just walking around to his different offensive linemen hey, they can't tackle Derrick. They can't tackle Derrick, so block. They can't tackle Derrick. So, it's pretty clear what the game plan was for the Titans, and I think will be moving forward as long as he's healthy. It'd be great with what this offense currently is. At least last year when he got hurt, you did have A.J. Brown, so you could, throw the ball to him. Can you imagine if he got hurt this year? Would be good.
Well, and I've seen a little bit of that. It's wait a minute. Now, last year, they were that's it. You had another guy who can dominate a game at a skill position and a different skill position, but a guy who could dominate a game. Think about the Niners game last year. I mean, A.J. Brown just basically took over the game.
Yeah.
That's how they were able to survive that, along with Foreman and Hilliard. All credit to them in the offensive line, but take that away on the outside, and you're talking about 9 points a game, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a tenable formula. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it's time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your submissions, as always, on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Make sure you catch the Eddie George Show featuring Jonathan Hutton on 102.5, 106.3 The Game on Monday at 6 o'clock. Live from 6th and Peabody, the Eddie George Show brought to you by Low T Centers and Xander Insurance. Xander gives you more options. More options means more savings for you. Get your free quote at XanderInsurance.com. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at noon.
No matter the down and distance and no matter the score, they're going to give him the football.
Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton joins Chase, Willie, and D-Mace to talk all things Titans and NFL.
I hope that they're not throwing flags simply because the league wants to see more of them.
He's got opinions and insights on the two-tone blue.
They are not as good at wide receiver and the playmaking department.
Catch Hutton every Wednesday at noon. Presented by Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars and by Edley's Barbecue on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. After a foggy start in some spots the afternoon, mainly sunny and even warmer than yesterday. High temperatures mid to upper 70s. That continues for tomorrow. Next rain chance going to be Saturday afternoon into Sunday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's Eddie George. You know we all have crazy busy lives and don't take time to research car insurance, right? Well, you don't have to. Xander Insurance does all the work for you. Their system shops over 15 top companies to find you the best rates, and they keep shopping every year. Their clients have saved an average of $600. That's why I'm a client. Xander gives me more options. More options means more savings. Get free quotes at XanderInsurance.com or call 800-356-1780.
The final matchup of the Tennessee basketball team's 3-game series with Colorado is coming to Nashville. Don't miss the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Colorado Buffaloes at Bridgestone Arena Sunday, November 13th. Be there to witness your Volunteers in action as they look to run their all-time record against Colorado to 5-0. Sunday, November 13th, Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Red Cap.
Okay, can I have everybody's attention for just a
Morgan's
second?
media planning firm just landed a multi-million-dollar client.
Because we won the pitch.
She needs to staff up before trafficking hits a traffic jam.
So we're going to need research, planning, buying, obviously, and probably data analytics.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up with promo code PLAY. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code PLAY for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
At the United States Postal Service, we're here to deliver fast and reliable service to help you get holiday ready. We offer free package pickup and deliver free shipping supplies to your address. So whether you're in Garland, Texas, Rudolph, Wisconsin, or anywhere in between, we're making it easier for you to spread festive cheer this holiday season. USPS, delivering for America. For all your holiday needs, including info about free shipping supplies, free package pickup availability, and restrictions, go to USPS.com/holidays.
Chase McCabe.
The best way to figure that out is to watch Twitter.
Willie Donick.
Trying to move down the field for the winning field goal.
And Derek Mason.
I'm putting in my hours and I'm out of here.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app. The best and worst of the sports week now on Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your thoughts, your submissions, as always, on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, would you like to kick us off with your best and worst things in the world of sports?
Yeah, I'll keep it simple and keep it in the arena of play. I have another worst that I'm going to save for an hour from now.
Okay.
This is a real worst. But my best is Tennessee, Georgia Saturday. I mean, look, man, you're out there breaking down film. I mean, what if we had what if you and Jared in Jared's film room went through some film? That could be fun.
We could do some pull-ups while we're there.
Maybe hop on the elliptical.
Oh,
we can do a lot of things.
All kinds of stuff. I can't wait, and it's fascinating. And I've talked myself into. It's like you mentioned a buddy who's like super confident. There are times when I'm like, Tennessee might just smoke them. I know. I don't think that's going to happen. Georgia's Georgia, and they're at home, but I'm very, very interested to see.
Robby is like, stop it, Joe.
I know. I'm sorry. We're all just excited. How about that? Okay, that's my best.
Okay, there we go.
And worst thing is the Nashville Predators. I don't know what's going on exactly. We have John Hines on the show later, but this is unacceptable and ridiculous how they're playing hockey right now. Way too many highly paid, accomplished veteran players on this team for the collective performance to be this bad.
Yeah.
Period.
There's no question about it. Michelle Knezvik, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Okay, my best thing in sports this week is Derrick Henry. And you guys mentioned it in the last segment. If you haven't already listened to it, but go to his mic'd up video on the Titans Twitter page. And some of the stuff he's saying just during the game, and you can just tell how he's so amped up. Like one of the quotes was, "We block and I'm going," right? And watching that performance, I think it really just ties like a perfect bow, especially him passing Eddie George for the franchise record for touchdowns. And in the short amount of time he has done it in, like he is just incredible. I mean, almost breaking the rushing record in the game. I mean, he very much could have, and hopefully he does here in Nissan Stadium against the Texans coming up. But, just incredible. A lot of people thought he wasn't the same after his foot injury, and I think he very much has proved that so far, and hopefully he can break the record moving forward. But just pretty awesome to watch him right now. And then my worst in sports. I'm going to out myself right now, okay? I absolutely hate when anybody makes an excuse for a loss. And that was me in Knoxville on Saturday. So I will be the worst in sports because I did what I hate, is when people are like, well, we lost because of this, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, you just played crappy and you lost. So after the game on Saturday, I was just chatting with Vols fans like, yeah, but like Kentucky football's not that good. Like, no, Michelle, just take the L, stop talking to people, and also stop being rude about other fan bases just because you feel bad that you lost. So misery does not need company, and I am my worst in sports this week. So
the excuse was for 44-6.
I'm like, well, here's the thing. Like, Tennessee, like, they are just, like, more of a football school. And these guys are just walking next to me. And Ryan's like, Michelle, they're not listening to you. And I'm like, so, like, what do you and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I feel better. I had to talk it out.
Okay, I was just genuinely curious to know what the excuse was in the 44-6 game.
I'm like, but here's the thing.
So it's downplaying. It's really more downplaying.
Yeah, it's not that
downplaying the loss. I'm like, here's the thing. But
basketball
actually,
season anyway.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
What do you call yourself out?
Yeah, we got it
I respect
sometimes.
All right, my best thing in sports. I'll go two really quickly. I mean, the best thing is Tennessee being number one in the college football playoff. I know it doesn't ultimately matter at the end of the day. Like, the first college football playoff ranking is meaningless for the most part. But I will say it's one of those things where if you're a Tennessee fan, I think you ought to enjoy it. Like, it may be over with on Saturday in terms of you may not be number one again for a very long time. I don't know. But based on what they've done so far, I think this is something for Tennessee fans to enjoy. So Tennessee being number one in the college football playoff rankings, my best thing in sports. I will give an honorable mention to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl based on what we saw the other night. Those two guys are pretty darn good.
Okay.
Yep.
They are pretty darn good. My worst thing in sports, and this brings me great joy, the Brooklyn Nets. They had to fire, well, I guess the better term is parting ways with Steve Nash after after 7 games into this NBA season. Now they are 2-6. I don't like Kyrie Irving. I don't like Kevin Durant. And quite frankly, I just don't like the Brooklyn Nets. So the fact that they're 2-6 is hilarious to me. And they're my worst thing in sports for selfish reasons because I love it.
Yeah, so it's a best worst.
Yes,
it's like
also the Lakers
like a
are losing.
Yeah, they're just kind of. I just kind of feel bad for them.
I will say with the Lakers, I actually enjoyed watching like them win and Russell Westbrook like do good things the other night because I did because it's gotten a little bit.
It's gotten a little out of control with him. Yeah.
It's a little bit out of control. So I actually kind of felt good for him, but I'm here for them sucking.
Let's go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Kenny the mailman. Kenny, thanks for calling in.
Good morning, everybody. How are y'all?
We're good.
Good.
Excellent. You know what? I love seeing good sportsmanship. Do y'all?
We do.
And I wanted to honor that with the Los Angeles Rams organization because somehow, some way, they went so far out to be a good sportsmanship that with the 49ers coming in, they organized a red out in their own stadium to welcome the 49ers. Did you see any of the highlights of that game?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Niner fans in there.
Was rooting for the 49ers. You know, we make fun of the Chargers not having support, but the Rams just won the Super Bowl. Do they have not have enough fans to even fill their own stadium? So that's sort of a good and bad in one thing.
It's pretty
best
good.
and a worst.
Kenny, thanks for the call, man. It was a nice hospitality from the Rams the other day.
It is amazing.
I will say it did.
Right?
I saw some of that game, And when the Niners scored a touchdown, like, it felt like 75% of that stadium went nuts. And you're just like, man.
And that's happened before.
Oh, yeah. That happened in the
last year.
It happened in the NFC title game last year. There's a lot of Niner fans in there.
Yeah, but not to that
Not
extent.
to that extent, but there are a lot in there.
Yeah, it's interesting because, the Chargers moved. So the Chargers had not been a part of it. So you kind of – and again, L.A. is L.A., so that's – I mean, it's
to be honest
a
with you,
different
isn't
place.
LA kind of like a crappy sports town? Like, they show up for the Lakers when they're good. And that's about it. Like, it's not great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you have a great team, I mean, think about even USC when they were amazing.
They still couldn't fill the place.
Still couldn't fill the place. But like the Rams have the history there, so you figure there's a lot of old school Rams fans who now have their team back in town. But I don't know, man. Yeah,
a lot of Niner
wild.
fans in that building. A lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're just there to see Christian McCaffrey throw a touchdown pass and then catch one.
He did it all,
and then run one.
They had an enjoyable day. Those Niners fans.
They did. It is amazing to think about, the NFC. If you were to ask somebody heading into the season who the contenders were, the general consensus would have been Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and the Rams. And look at those three teams right now.
Let's see.
Not good.
Those Niners, Seahawks, and I don't know who else.
Yeah, so those three teams combined are – here's me doing math on the show. 9 and 14 combined.
Good.
Those three teams.
It's
yeah.
not good.
Captain Kirk got yourself another weapon, buddy.
Yes, he did.
Keep pushing forward.
Going to be beautiful to see what those Minnesota Vikings do. 615-737-1025. This has been the best and worst things in sports. You can check it out every Thursday morning at 6:45. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Jared Stillman. We'll recap Joe's glorious victory yesterday in Jared versus Joe. Get Jared's thoughts on the Jeffrey Simmons situation as well. All that coming up next. But first, Michelle Knezovic has a word from Superbook Sportsbook.
Yes, I do. And speaking of the NFL, we got a little Thursday night football action tonight. The undefeated Eagles versus the Texans. Eagles are favored by 13.5. Listen, I think that the Eagles can easily beat the Texans by about 2 touchdowns. So give me the Eagles minus the 13.5. I think you can take A.J. Brown for an anytime touchdown. I think you could also take Jalen Hurts for an anytime touchdown and over on the passing yards. But football's not the only thing happening right now. We got basketball, hockey, little postseason baseball, and the World Cup soon. And there's no better place to wager on all of that than Superbook Sports. When you sign up, deposit, wager all on the same day, Superbook will give you a bonus up to $1,000. When the sports world is busy, it is busy to start winning some money. So download the Superbook Sportsbook app, or you can visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
You love the game.
Tennessee touchdown! Middle Tennessee gets the score.
We live the game.
Just work on the little things every day.
They think the coaches are just coaches.
We are.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome Game 7.
What a stop made by UC Sarah.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks Man Cards are the perfect gifts for the sports fans on your list. Swing by Twin Peaks to purchase your gift cards today and get a little something in return. Offer available at participating restaurants.
As a roofer, every second counts. Late deliveries and incomplete orders cost me time and money. That's why I partner with Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. With Beacon, I know my supplies will be delivered on time and complete. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Go to BECN.com to get started building with Beacon. Beacon, always building.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
Hal Gill here for my friends at Dunkin'. Everyone celebrates the holidays in their own special way, but you go twice as hard as everyone else. So does Dunkin'. which is why they've created 2 espresso-rich holiday signature lattes. The minty, cocoa-dusted peppermint mocha and creamy cinnamon sugary toasted white chocolate lattes are handcrafted with bold espresso and topped with whipped cream to help you do the most this year. So swing by the newly remodeled Dunkin' on Bradley Parkway in Nashville or the new Dunkin' in Mount Juliet and grab one today on the double.
Lions, Tigers, and tailgates. Oh my. The college football season is always a great time of year. Besides the jerseys, the face paint, and the foam fingers, there's the food. And nothing gets you more fired up for game day than Eckrich smoked sausage. They're naturally hardwood smoked and have the perfect blend of spices. From buffalo sausage dip to sausage chili mac and cheese, Eckrich smoked sausage is a quick way to bring flavor to all your tailgate meals. Visit Eckrich.com for easy, one-of-a-kind sausage recipes. Eckrich, you do you.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, the road trip continues for your Nashville Predators as they battle the Calgary Flames. Coverage begins at 7. We are your home for Smashville. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne,
the Cromwell Media Station,
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. And as we do every Thursday morning at 7 o'clock, we welcome in our good friend Jared Stillman to the program. Jared, good morning. How we doing? What's going on?
It is an honor to be on your program this morning, Robby.
Well, it's an honor to have you with us on the program, Jared, and it's even more of an honor that you showed up after 2 consecutive defeats at the hands of Joe Rexrode. What's going on in this competition right now, Jared?
Yeah, I think this is one of the ones. Last week, Joe worked the refs. I think this one, our officiating crew was more upset about something that had already happened prior to the Jared versus Joe segment of our program. But you know what? I think the thing that I've learned about society is too many people are afraid to admit defeat. I, like the Detroit Lions, am willing to admit my defeat. And even though what I am in the Jared versus Joe is I'm basically the Detroit Lions with Barry Sanders. I got the most talented player, the most dynamic, the best, and somehow we always lose. So, I got to go from there and figure it out.
I enjoyed that.
Okay.
Joe, your response?
I don't even know what he's talking about. Sure. I think you should have won, Jared.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you're being a team player.
That's right.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome, buddy.
So, Jared, if you're a Titans fan today, you saw the Dan Pompei story yesterday with Jeffrey Simmons and his words about the contract. How concerned would you be if you're a Titans fan today that maybe you're in danger of losing Jeffrey Simmons as well as A.J. Brown?
I mean, I wouldn't be concerned about it because Jeffrey Simmons tweeted out that it's not a story and he's not worried about his contract, even though the only reason people think he's worried about his contract is because he said he's worried about his contract. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it for one reason. I mean, look, I understand the idea that people are worried about what happened with A.J. Brown, and yeah, they screwed that up. Even though, like I've said many times, I voted for that referendum. Joe did not, was very adamant against it when it happened, and Joe was right. But the reality is, when it comes to Jeffrey Simmons, you don't trade Jeffrey Simmons. Like, you make Jeffrey Simmons sit out and you toll his contract. Like, you do not trade Jeffrey Simmons. And so I assume that the Titans will find a way to get the Simmons deal done. I think they knew the whole time they were going to have to pay Simmons a motherload of money. I think that if they weren't going to do that, then we would have already seen them. We would have already either heard something or the Titans would have had something in the works, I would guess. Then again, the AJ thing, they said, we want to sign him, and they didn't sign him. But you just don't trade away Jeffrey Simmons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't trade away Warren Sapp in his prime. Players like this do not come along often. You don't do what Jeff Fisher did and allow Albert Haynesworth or convince Albert Haynesworth to sign the franchise tag if you promise not to tag him again if he makes an all-pro team. You don't do that. You don't let these guys walk out the door, and I think the Titans are smart enough to know that.
Yeah, and they didn't have to let A.J. walk out the door either. But
true.
This quote in Dan Pompei's story at The Athletic, by the way, I thought was very interesting, so I'll read it. and then get your reaction specifically to this quote. This is what Jeffrey Simmons said about what the Titans discussed. Quote, it was, "We want you to be here, but we don't know exactly when we'll be able to pay you." The Titans were like, "We don't know if we're going to be able to offer you what you think you're worth. We want to pay you, but we don't know where it's going to come from." That's basically what it was, not an offer, end quote. That was Jeffrey Simmons talking about what the Titans told him. What the heck does that mean exactly, Jared?
So,
and by the way, is the salary? Oh, this. But wait a minute. Now there's no salary cap. Now I'm confused. Please help me understand. Oh, the cap's not real.
The cap's not real. But the money to pay him that is real. So if they were to sign Jeffrey Simmons and he were to get a $40 million signing bonus or something crazy like that, that actual money that they write on the check, that's real. So the owner has to pay that money. Now, here's what I think when I hear that quote. First off, I think this is like a massive game of telephone, right? Like Jeffrey Simmons is telling us what the Titans told him, but the Titans have said that they talked to his representatives. So maybe Jeffrey Simmons is relaying what his representatives told him to The Athletic. My guess is that wasn't verbatim what John Robinson said, but maybe it was. Secondly, that's negotiating, right? Like, we're not going to be able to pay you everything that you think you're worth. The Titans aren't going to say, we have no leverage in this, Jeff. We're going to have to pay you $47 million a year. That's not how negotiating works. So, honestly, that quote, other than it being super juicy, I'm not sure that I take a lot out of that quote, even though it is juicy, especially given what happened with AJ. And if you'll remember, the AJ situation, and this should give fans some PTSD, but Tory Dandy, again, massive game of telephone here, Deebo Samuel told his mom on the Deebo Samuel mom's Instagram that the Titans had told Tory Dandy, A.J. Brown, and Deebo Samuel's agent that they know that A.J. is worth more than $20 million a year, but they're not going to give it to him. And so maybe this is like the Titans' way of negotiating. I'm not sure it's all that effective, but it clearly is not making the players very happy. But this is the one thing I'll say about Jeffrey Simmons. Just play ball. Just keep playing ball, do your thing, and you will get paid by the Tennessee Titans. Just like Derrick Henry got paid, just like Harold Landry got paid, just like Kevin Byard got paid, just like Ryan Tannehill got paid. You will get paid if you keep playing ball. Just keep playing ball.
Well, the bottom line is there's no way they're going to be able to let A.J. Brown out the door and then turn around and let Jeffrey Simmons out the door. And Jeffrey Simmons deep down has to know that. Jared, as you look at yesterday in the competition, it's come up once again. Some allegations that maybe you just hate Tennessee fans, not allowing them to be happy being number one in the college football playoff rankings. What's going on with that?
Well, I mean, the thing that's crazy is that when I get emotional about my team's success, it is not in the middle of the season. It is usually when something actually gets accomplished. And so this idea, and you did it, Robby.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God, we're number one after all them years. For all of that, it's like, yeah, it's the middle of the season. Mississippi State was number one in the first college football playoff rankings in 2014. And after that, they ended up losing to Alabama. They didn't get embarrassed by Alabama, but they lost to Alabama. And they ended up not making the college football playoff. And they ended up getting smoked in the Orange Bowl by Georgia Tech. And, congratulations on being number one. The problem is that that's Mississippi State. Is Tennessee the same caliber program as Mississippi State? I guess from the reaction of being ranked number one at one point in the college football playoff rankings, maybe it is. I thought that Tennessee was better than that. I guess I'm wrong. So I'm not saying don't be excited, but I pardon me if I wait until things actually happen before I start to get super emotional.
That's true. Yeah, you pretty much hold off on knee-jerk reactions to things. That's a good point. Very on brand for you.
Well, when the Atlanta Braves last year beat the Milwaukee Brewers in the divisional series to go to the NLCS for the first time since 2001, I didn't cry. Now, when the Braves won the World Series for the first time since 1995, I was a little emotional. I think there's a difference between the two.
Okay, but here's another thing. I don't care if Tennessee would have lost every game afterward. The Alabama win alone is a moment. That belongs in its own island altogether after 15 straight against Saban, right? So it's already like, I understand. I don't think any Vols fans are like, well, we've won the national title because we're number one right now. But there are things this season that absolutely warrant that kind of emotion, Jared.
And I didn't criticize the reaction after the Alabama game. I didn't criticize the smoking cigars, the storming the field, the throwing the goalposts in the river, which I actually thought was pretty funny. I didn't criticize that because that's a big rivalry win, just like when Michigan beat Ohio State last year. I mean, because of where the Michigan-Ohio State game is, the effects were more real for Michigan because that was basically a play into the playoff game, kind of like this game on Saturday. But still, I didn't criticize Michigan. I mean, the first time they beat Ohio State in forever, and they're going to the playoff. That's great. And it's great that Tennessee beat Alabama. But again, we're not talking about, our Tennessee fans celebrating the Alabama win too much. We're talking about, this whole idea of thinking about the plight of the Vol fandom and the Vol football program over the last 20 years. And it all has reached the pinnacle with being ranked number one in the first college football playoff ranking.
Who said that?
Doesn't matter.
What Tennessee fan said that? You went to Facebook? Is that what you were saying yesterday? You went to some Facebook group?
It's not a Facebook group. It is Facebook. Period.
Okay.
Robbie knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
So what? It's
just general reaction on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of excitement out there.
It's fine to be excited about being number one.
I didn't say don't be excited. I said don't lose your marbles over it. That's all. Again, you don't need to cry about being ranked number one in the college football playoff rank.
Someone cried on Facebook.
Great.
Did you see this,
I
Robbie?
did not see that.
I'm going to
cried.
you. I'm going to you.
I put an Instagram post up.
Did you cried?
I did have a crying emoji on there. I didn't cry though.
Okay, a crying emoji. I want you to produce someone who actually sounded like you sounded yesterday.
Every time I come on here, Joe's like, I don't believe it till you show me. Then I show Joe. Then Joe's like, that doesn't count.
Like what?
Every single time.
What?
Like one time in Jared versus Joe, you were asked to use a metric to grade somebody, and I said sacks, and you said that doesn't count. Or like the time that we were talking about Ryan Tannehill in training camp, and you were like, find me one article of somebody saying that Ryan Tannehill wasn't good in camp. I'm like, here's this article that says Ryan Tannehill wasn't good in training camp.
Jared.
And Robbie's sitting there saying that he knows exactly what I'm talking about on Facebook.
No, he knows. He's laughing because, again, you are completely twisting facts. No, Jared, we all talked about.
Jared did find one article. I don't know who in the world it was written by, but he found one.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you, Robbie.
No. Everyone wrote about the picks he threw last year, which I said, and then you're like, oh, well, let me show you what they wrote about the picks. I mean, I said that.
The best was your question to him that we went and dug up, which then you criticized us for doing, where we dug up the question from you last training camp, being like, so Ryan, all these training camp interceptions, you're just forcing it, right? Like when the games start, you'll just be, you're just forcing it.
Again, you're twisting my words. I will admit, no, I said, are you trying? I asked, are you forcing the issue too much? I didn't say you're just doing that, Ryan. You're going to be awesome. Ryan, you're going to be awesome. You're going to be awesome? Oh, you're going to be awesome, right, Ryan? No.
You asked with your opinion.
I will admit that the correct way to ask that question is what's up with the training camp picks and leave it there. I will agree with that. Open-ended question, let them answer it. But you, of course, twisted my words again because you can't just go with facts, Jared. Try facts.
Jared, 2 losses in a row in Jared versus Joe. It's time to hop in the film room this week, get back to it, and we'll see if we can come out with a win next week.
Robbie, who wins this morning's edition of Jared versus Joe?
I didn't know I was supposed to be judging that.
Well, I just feel like Joe's been wrong about everything.
Because you lied? You win the lying award.
What did I lie about?
You just lied about what I asked. You just lied about what I said previously on the Tannehill argument. There's 2.
What did you say on the Tannehill argument?
Dude, we're not going to relitigate
I think
this
Robbie
crap.
thinks Jared won.
Of course Robbie thinks
we're going with Jared today.
Sure. No, I think you did too. You always win.
And not only
you
that,
always win.
Robbie knows exactly what I'm talking about on Facebook because he's from here and he's friends with people who root for the Vols, unlike you that sits up in your ivory tower press box and writes on every team because The Athletic has nobody to cover any of the teams here anymore except for you. And you sit up there in your ivory tower and you're like, here's what is happening. Whereas people like me and Robbie are, canvassing the field, and we know how the people feel.
That's right.
Give me 5 burpees and some film study. Okay?
I'm just
Call
telling
me
you,
in the
Joe.
morning. Okay.
Make it personal, Joe. Make it crack.
Oh, I will.
By the way,
I will.
Hey, have you watched that Malik Willis tape yet, or are you just claiming that you haven't and you haven't actually watched
I've been all over
He's
that.
on the All 22 all night.
In fact, slow-mo. I've been doing slow-mo on every release. And I've got actually notes tomorrow. 2 hours on the show tomorrow about his release. It's going to be awesome.
He didn't throw enough passes for 2 hours, but yeah.
Slow-mo, though.
Thank you, Jared. We'll
See you
talk to
guys.
you next week. Jared Stillman, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Thursday morning at 7 o'clock. We'll take your thoughts on that conversation. We'll also get into the Dan Pompei article on Jeffrey Simmons and his contract situation coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guys.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Looking for a big diamond? Genesis Diamonds introduces our Elite Collection, all new for this year. These are large, rare diamonds in the top 1% of the world. 3 carat, 4 carat, 5 carat, up to 10 carat precious diamonds for the most discriminating buyers who appreciate quality. Genesis owners travel worldwide, tapping a vast network of diamond cutters, carefully hand-selecting each of these remarkable diamonds. We invite you to view this premium collection of GIA-certified diamonds, rounds, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, even fancy colored diamonds in size and quality never before seen here. And to showcase these exquisite stones, only Genesis has the finest handcrafted rings from all the world-class designers. If 2020 is the year you're upgrading her original diamond, or you just want to go big for the first time, no need to travel to New York or Los Angeles or Antwerp. Genesis Diamonds' elite collection of large, precious diamonds is here in Nashville. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win if you sign up with the promo code JGM. FanDuel has all of your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props, and you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Get paid and get your winnings fast. All in an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Derrick Henry versus the Chiefs. Intriguing matchup. So sign up today with the promo code JGM for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code JGM. And make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only, and your refund is issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. Please see terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Please call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
The final matchup of the Tennessee basketball team's 3-game series with Colorado is coming to Nashville. Don't miss the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Colorado Buffaloes at Bridgestone Arena Sunday, November 13th. Be there to witness your Volunteers in action as they look to run their all-time record against Colorado to 5-0. Sunday, November 13th, Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Red Cap.
Well, you've got the whole world listening. What do you got to say?
Never miss a moment of the show. Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Should we be worried that the Titans might mess up Jeffrey Simmons' contract situation like they did with A.J. Brown's? Joe Rexrode, the floor is yours. Joe.
Is he there? Is he alive?
Hello, Joe.
And I was getting ready to bust his chops about the fact that somebody held at the
shoot, I muted myself.
Oh, Joe.
I muted myself. I'm sorry.
Joe Rexrode strikes again yesterday on Jared versus Joe.
I was making an amazing point, too.
It's not just here when he mutes himself.
Yeah.
On the phone yesterday. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I muted the phone during the segment. Katie and I were trying to go into a play and whatever.
It worked out. You got back in there.
Yeah, it's fine.
And now it's a beautiful piece of audio that Ian clipped up and sent us, so we're very happy for it. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian, very much. I love these burners. I love these burners of Jared's family on Twitter. Or Jared.
Yeah, Gamma Greg says,
Gamma Greg.
Joe Rexrode, not a worthy opponent for Jared Stillman when it comes to football talk.
He does have a crying, laughing emoji, though, so is he actually?
I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe that's just sarcasm. If so, Gamma Greg, I apologize for calling you #JaredMomBurner.
Derek from Nolansville says, these Jared versus Joe segments can't be real. Crying, laughing face. If they are, they're truly golden. More crying, laughing faces.
I mean, they're real.
Oh, they're real. People have accused, people have asked me before, they're like, do Jared and Joe, do they actually, are those legit arguments? I'm like, yeah. They could go on forever if I didn't stop them. It could happen all the time.
Oh, I mean, believe me, if for anybody in media around here who's been around when we've been in the same place, like at Titans camp, sometimes it gets explosive.
Oh, it does.
It's fun.
It gets explosive.
So, but the thing is, it really is. I guess maybe I should have just said you lied instead of calling him a liar. But he lied. He actually lied on that. I'm not even going to go back to the whole Tannehill thing. Yes, Jared, we all talked about his picks. I asked about the picks. And, yes, I did ask the question poorly. I agree. But now Jared's like, well, I showed you that article. Everybody wrote about the picks. The point is, no one said last year going into the season, Ryan Tannehill had a terrible camp. What will the Titans do? That's my point, which is accurate, which didn't happen. But you have to twist the facts so that you can keep blabbing. All right.
LD from McMinnville says, as a fan base, we're unbelievably lucky to have 4 hours of daily access to #Jared's Film Room.
Hell yes.
This is going to be your greatest victory.
Contribution.
Is getting #Jared's Film Room a thing that's going just beautiful.
Oh, man.
Let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Nate. Nate, thanks for calling in.
Unlike Jared's ridiculously crying soliloquy yesterday, I am actually not excited about the Vols being number one. I am extremely nervous about that.
Okay, why is that?
I know that the rankings don't mean anything, but when you knock Georgia from 1 to 3 and you put Tennessee at 1 and they play in Athens on Saturday, it just doesn't sit right with me.
All right.
With how I feel about Georgia's going to come out with a vengeance, and I know Tennessee's going to come out with a prove it game, but will that be enough?
Hey, thanks for the call. I mean, look, I don't
remember they didn't get knocked down. This is the first rankings that matter. Yeah.
Now, they're also an 8.5-point favorite.
Exactly. In both locker rooms, you can sit here. You can sit here with your Tennessee and say, "So we're number one, and we're underdogs by more than a touchdown." People think they're just going to smoke us. You can play that game. I feel like when you have a game this big, I understand what Nate's saying, but when you have a game this big, I don't think that the motivation thing, it's maxed out.
The motivation is not a problem either side. I can promise you in this.
Exactly. That's the great thing about games like this. You don't have to really worry about stuff like that, right? It's just again, both sides will still do it. Both coaches will absolutely. Kirby will play up number one. No, they're number one. I guess we're not number one, huh, guys? He'll play it up.
Sure.
And Tennessee will play up being a huge underdog. But when you have a game this big, I don't think that stuff even matters. It's like throwing it's like a huge fire pit. You know, you throw some strands of paper in it. Like it's already got logs in the fire, okay? Another great analogy by me. Thank you.
You nailed it. We'll have more on the Vols and Georgia coming up later in the program. Joe, we brought this up with Jared. An interesting story by your colleague at The Athletic and friend of the show, Dan Pompei, yesterday on Jeffrey Simmons, his emergence in this league as one of the top defensive tackles in the NFL. I mean, there's all sorts of comments in here. I mean, Vrabel's a part of this story. He's talking about like the comparisons with Aaron Donald in this story as well. He's got more sacks than Aaron Donald this year. Only Quinnen Williams of the Jets has more sacks on the interior than Jeffrey Simmons does so far this year. But also the contract addressed in here as well. And you read the quote from Simmons in this piece last time out, or in the last segment when we were discussing this with Jared. And it is a really interesting quote that he brings to the table there. And the quote is this for those of you who may have missed it, and I'm pulling it up right now. It says, quote, "It was, we want you to be here, but we don't know exactly when we'll be able to pay you," he says. The Titans were like, "We don't know if we're going to be able to offer you what you think you're worth. We want to pay you, but we don't know where it's going to come from." That's basically what it was, not an offer. This was Jeffrey Simmons on his contract situation. So what did you make of this story put together by Dan Pompei and that quote specifically as it relates to Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans?
Well, here's where I'll say nice things about Jared, because I agree with what he said, the game of telephone analysis. I think that's about dead on, you know. And I also agree with something he said yesterday, which is people want to do this. So they had to actually let AJ go because they have to pay Jeff now. Look, the cap is real. There's no team in this league that can just load up forever and ever and ever and just not consider the cap. Every team in this league has an example of had to make a cap decision, but it is adjustable. It is flexible, and yes, the Titans could have made it work to both pay AJ and Jeff Simmons moving forward. They will. I agree too. They will pay him. It will be fine. This was interesting. It was an interesting quote by him, and I know some people too are like good for like Kaharski and Glennon. Those guys went and asked him yesterday in the locker room, and he's like, I'm not talking contract. Like, well, we're reacting to your quote about your contract. But right. You got to remember, Dan Pompei flew into town from Chicago, had a one-on-one with Jeff, and so when you have that kind of setting, you get into. He was talking about him as a player, Aaron Donald, a lot of things like that. So you get onto that topic sometimes when you're in a locker room surrounded by reporters. It's just a different. It is. Deal. So I don't knock Jeff too much for, even though he created the story, for now being like, I don't want to talk about the contract. Let's talk about the Chiefs. I think it's going to be fine, but that is it is juicy. It's a very interesting quote. Like, and it's a little, when you think about it with what they told AJ per his agent through Instagram on the but it is a little bit like, yeah, sorry, we don't have any money. Can't pay you.
Like, is that your? It does make me wonder. And this is a good point.
It's negotiating.
It is negotiating, but like, is this your tactic for the Titans?
Because look, everybody. You're an NFL franchise with salary cap, and it's not like this isn't baseball where it's like, sorry, we're the Royals. I guess you'll just have to go to the Yankees. Like we have like a fraction of the money they have. Everybody can get to the cap, right?
I would think so. 615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction. What did you make of this story from Dan Pompei on Jeffrey Simmons' contract situation, which I'm sure has been studied ad nauseum, and hashtag Jared's Film Room. We'll get more of your thoughts on that coming up next. 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
This is Phil Tomasino, and this is Smashville.
Cousins put it in front of the score. Tomasino lofts it in. 2-0 Nashville.
This is a flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 102.5, The Game.
Hey football fans, Patrick Mahomes here, and I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN17. Use code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of Chase, Willie, and D-Mace, we'll continue to look ahead to Titans-Chiefs, Vols in Georgia. We'll talk to Elliot Friedman, Sportsnet at 1 o'clock. Plus, don't forget, silly underdog picks at noon. It all begins at 10 right here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey Nashville, this is Gary Bettman. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on this Thursday morning. I got some tickets to give away to see TSU this Saturday as they take on the Southeast Missouri Redhawks at Nissan Stadium. Be caller number 3 at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caller number 3 will win a pair of tickets to see TSU this Saturday as they take on the Southeast Missouri Redhawks at Nissan Stadium. 615-737-1025. So discussing the Dan Pompei piece on Jeffrey Simmons and his contract situation. And again, one of the quotes from that piece from Jeffrey Simmons, quote, it was, "We want you to be here, but we don't know exactly when we'll be able to pay you," he says. The Titans were like, "We don't know if we're going to be able to offer you what you think you're worth. We want to pay you, but we don't know where it's going to come from." That's basically what it was, not an offer. So we've talked about that. I mean, that does, when you have a quote like that, it does kind of sound like a game, a telephone a little bit out there, and it is early in the process. And the thing to keep in mind is also what we talked about the entire offseason long when it came to discussing the Jeffrey Simmons contract situation. like the Titans, they didn't have to be in a rush to do anything. I mean, they've got him under contractual control for the next couple of years. So, I mean, there's no real reason for the Titans to, to bend over backwards to do it other than what you've discussed, which is maybe if you got him this past offseason, it ultimately ends up costing you a little less money because I will say this, Joe. You watch Jeffrey Simmons play so far this year, I think he's making himself some money out there with the way that he's playing.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of this piece is about that, too, and how dominant he's been and how you could make the case that he's better than Aaron Donald this year. You can make the case. I mean, Aaron Donald is an all-time NFL defender. I'm not saying Jeffrey Simmons is, but right now at this moment, you could make the case that Jeffrey Simmons is the best interior defender in the NFL. And, yes, this is exactly why, to me, it's worthwhile. Now, you have to make it work with the cap in this year and all that, but that is where the cap is not fake, but it is very manipulable. Manipulable. You know what I'm saying.
Nailed it.
Thank you. That's why if you extend him going into this season, and basically you're trading, you're giving yourself a little bit of a discount in exchange for now you have security. So Jeffrey Simmons also in the story is like, hey, I'm sitting here making $2 million. He's the 98th paid defensive. You have that security. You got the contract. You don't have to worry about someone sideswiping your knee, and now you never really get the big payday in the NFL. In exchange for that, the deal's probably a little more team-friendly. I would think. I don't know what the numbers are. I can't prove that's true, but that's why, to me, you do it. They didn't do it. They're going to pay him a lot. But you know what? And there's people on the text line, this is an unnamed, but WTF are the Titans doing, man? You have to keep your premier players. Look at the team as a whole. How many of them could go to other teams to start? And my answer to that and others, and I agree with Jared, like, they're going to get this done. They're not screwing this up. And I think this is different than the A.J. situation. I understand A.J. wanted to play with Jalen Hurts, all that stuff. To me, again, great. You're under contract. It's professional sports.
Well,
lots of people want to do a lot of stuff. I mean, I want to be an astronaut, okay? But, go show up to work and do what you get paid to do.
Well, and there's two parts of that make me very confident that Jeffrey Simmons, they're going to pay Jeffrey Simmons. Number one, you just went through this with A.J. Brown, and you lost him. And how's that working out for your offense right now? Not so great. And it's also like I do think there is something to be said for image too. Now, in fairness to this, they've paid Kevin Byard. They've paid Derrick Henry. It's not like they've just not paid guys before. But there is something to be said. I mean, Lawan, you can keep going down the list. But there is something to be said for your premier players. If you just continually let them walk out the door, like for the next premier guy for the Titans, are you not looking around saying, all right, well, are they going to pay me, or is this a waste of time and I'm going to go do something else? Like you can't, to me, sell this to your fan base of we traded A.J. Brown and then we've let Jeffrey Simmons walk out the door, but trust us, we're having that new stadium coming up in 2026 and we'll sign the next big guy. Like that's not going to work.
Trust us. We are able to find Terrence Mitchell's and Andrew Adams's all over the league. Yeah, no, I mean, you got look, I honestly, I don't think this is – I think it's a very interesting quote, and it's a little bit of an eyebrow raiser, but I don't think this is going to be an issue at all. Well, I can't wait to see the number because the number is going to be if he keeps playing like this, it's going to have to be a number.
It's going to be massive.
But they know they have to do it.
Well, and – I mean, this big story yesterday. It generated a lot of conversation on Titans Twitter. As you said, Jeffrey Simmons was asked about it in the locker room yesterday, and apparently to the point where he felt like he needed to tweet about it. So Jeffrey Simmons takes to Twitter yesterday and says, quote, "Listen, I love where I'm at. I love this organization and most of all my teammates. I'm not worried about a contract. I'm focused on winning. Next story, please." That was the tweet yesterday from Jeffrey Simmons. So it was tweet-worthy from Jeffrey Simmons yesterday.
Yes. But again, next story, please. This was your quote, Jeff.
Exactly.
I mean, the story, and I understand, this is where, thankfully, we didn't get like my quote was taken out of context thing. Thank you for not doing that because it's just such a crutch for people who get in these situations. But, you said what you said, so people are obviously going to make a big deal out of it. John says, I don't understand how he deserves Aaron Donald money without the Donald-like resume, the ring, Defensive Player of the Year awards, etc. got Donald paid. Simmons has none of that. Well, here's what got Donald paid. Dominating football games, okay? I mean, sure, those things, like your accolades and all that help you on the negotiating table. But ultimately, what are you doing? You're paying people who can win football games for you, right? I mean, so I'm not saying he's getting Aaron Donald exact money, but he's not going to be way behind it, I don't think.
Well, the fact of the matter is that contract reset the market there. And I think the conventional wisdom was, well, that's fine, it resets it, but nobody's getting Aaron Donald money because nobody's Aaron Donald.
And I don't think he's going to get as much.
I don't think he's going to get as much, but he's going to get pretty close. Like I agree with Pompey. Like you can make an argument he's the best defensive lineman in the game right now. You could absolutely make that argument.
No, you can't. No, I mean I think he'll be second. And yeah, I mean I'm with you. I don't think it'll be like miles apart from that. Now the thing is, what if they had done it over the summer? I think it would have been. That's what we'll never know. I think it would have been a decent amount further away than it will be now.
Do we think that Jeffrey Simmons? I mean, look, Jeffrey Simmons may not have wanted to do it over the summer. He may have known this was coming.
Well,
just keep betting on yourself.
Well, but he said in this piece that he thought about holding out and all that stuff. So I mean, it was pretty obvious. I give Jeff Simmons credit because it's not just betting on yourself and being great this year, which he is, but again, you are one awkward, weird roll up from behind from being in a totally different situation,
especially at that position.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully that nothing like that happens. That's the problem, with being in that spot, and why I totally got why he would want to get paid going into this year. He's demonstrated that he's one of the best this year. Now I think he's demonstrating that. Yeah, and again, maybe he's better than Donald right at this moment, but he certainly, to me, is number 2. Chris Jones is great. There's other great players across the league, but I think he's clearly number 2.
Well, and it was still one of the most underrated parts about Sunday is, and we talked about it a little bit. We talk about not taking Derrick Henry's greatness for granted a lot. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons didn't practice all week last week. He rolls out there on the tarmac, heading to the plane, is like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to show up, did I? And then he rolls out and just totally dominates and wrecks the game on Sunday on a bad ankle. Obviously he didn't practice last week. He didn't practice yesterday with the ankle. It's clear he's not 100%, and he's taking other grown NFL human beings and throwing them into the running back to make tackles. That's what he did last week.
It's like playing with Star Wars characters. You know? He's like throw Boba Fett at at Han Solo. I mean, it's just insane. Someone asked, do you think they'll give Tart a contract? Well, yeah. There's another guy you keep, and I don't even remember off the top of my head where he is. I mean, it's not going to be anywhere in this neighborhood, but he's also making himself an NFL starting caliber player who needs to get paid too.
Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. Also, make sure you tune in later this morning at 8:45 for your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click and win a pair of tickets to a future Preds home game. Pick to Click brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Visit tjandersonhomes.com to see why they are referred to so often. And Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Matich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. After a foggy start in some spots the afternoon, mainly sunny and even warmer than yesterday. High temperatures mid to upper 70s. That continues for tomorrow. Next rain chance going to be Saturday afternoon into Sunday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
In honor of Veterans Day, Twin Peaks is celebrating those who have given the ultimate sacrifice by giving back to Tunnel to Towers. Tunnel to Towers is a foundation which helps America's heroes by providing homes to first responder families. Get to Twin Peaks and donate $5 to Tunnel to Towers through November 30th and receive $5 back to spend on yourself at Twin Peaks this December. Visit your favorite Twin Peaks for more information. Valid at participating locations.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, CraneWorks. The CraneWorks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give CraneWorks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call CraneWorks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
Signs First, Nashville's trusted vehicle wrap and graphics one-stop shop. From one-off custom applications to entire company fleets, Signs First delivers superior quality both locally and nationally since 1991. Be creative. Get noticed. Signs First. Go to sfnash.com.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
O'Reilly. See better and drive safer with Rain-X Advantage wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase a pair of Rain-X Advantage wiper blades and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate, plus 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Chase McCabe.
Competition in all positions.
Willie Donick.
You know what? I went on the radio and I tried.
And Derek Mason.
The man that sleeps on the floor never falls out to bed.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Glorious, victorious. It's so stupid. It's a terrible song. I mean, I know it was some pro wrestling song, but like enough.
Need to clip that up, that's for sure. Play that many times in the future.
Please don't.
Would be great.
No, what happens in the 6 o'clock hour is not clippable. That should be a rule on this show.
That really sets the tone for the Rex Rant, which you can check out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. Joe Rexrode, I turn things over to you and your beautiful singing voice. That fortunately we get to hear pretty often on this program.
It gets worse every time. That gets worse every time. I am working on a song, by the way. Just want you to know, because I know there's high demand after my
Rex Rap.
Yeah,
Part 2.
Which I want to re-record that. You know,
we can go in the recording studio
later.
later.
My second verse for Katie was really good, and she's never heard my magical words of love.
We can fix that.
Yes. All right. I'm going to get serious here for a minute.
All right.
I'm going to go back to the fall of 1984. We lived in Saudi Arabia, Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. My dad was in the Army. We had moved there a few months earlier. And one thing you could do there, we had these military airplanes where you could fly to, well, especially Germany. It was like $6 a person. So it was a MAC. Like these planes had like carrier. They had tanks in them, huge planes. You climb this ladder, you fly backward, you get a TV dinner, but it's $6 a person. Wow. So at one point, not too long after we moved there, we went and did a few days. We went to Germany for a few days. So we went to a museum, Dachau, which used to be a concentration camp. And as an 11-year-old, and I've talked some with my parents about this. I don't know that they necessarily did this intentionally, but I was an 11-year-old. I knew about World War II and Hitler and things like that, but I didn't really know. So my first real understanding of the Holocaust was in that place, in the showers, with pictures of women and children. Like it hit me like I still think about it. So we're talking almost 40 years later. It hit me like a freight train. And I guess there's some trauma there, but also I actually really appreciate it to learn about it in that way because it was very real. And so, again, this is not something that I can personally relate to. I'm not Jewish, but I do get really, really upset. You can say anything is fake on the internet. I mean, Alex Jones says that the slaughter of these kids at Sandy Hook, and thankfully he got held accountable for it years later. But think about that. If you're a parent involved in that situation, you can say anything's fake on the internet these days. And you can find some crappy reason to put it out there. I mean, it's kind of like the Alabama official, except it's real stuff, and it's really, really hurtful and painful. And I just don't think there's enough anger right now toward Kyrie Irving. And I understand that, now they're donating money to hate causes and all this stuff. But the danger level of someone like that doing what he did, and I'm not even going to say the name of the movie, but one of the principles is that the Holocaust was fake of this movie that Kyrie Irving promoted on Instagram. And his press conference about it was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. Look, we already knew he was an idiot, okay? I mean, he's the guy who never read a book and the earth's flat. Fine. Yeah. Okay, fine. This is dangerous, and it's actionable, and people take action on these things because, unfortunately, that's the reality of the world we live in. So I really am disappointed in the NBA right now. I think the NBA needs to be a lot harder about this with him. And it's just really beyond that. The bigger picture of that is it's terrifying to me and depressing that these things can get oxygen and that people who have these platforms, Kanye West, can put this out in the world and contribute to hatred and violence. That's what it does. And it's just completely, obviously, I don't need to say it, but it's obviously wrong. And it's just I'm upset about it, and I want more accountability from him.
Well, and like you said, when you get into you start talking about the earth being flat and all that stuff, like, look, if you want to be an idiot about that stuff, knock yourself out. I mean, we've made fun of it. People have talked about it, all that stuff. Like, if you want to be stupid about that kind of stuff, then, I mean, whatever. I guess do you. When you start doing stuff like this is not like joking things over. Like, this is ridiculous. And, they've come out with the Kyrie Irving, the Nets, and the NBA have come out with a statement, and the Anti-Defamation League released a joint statement with Irving, I think it was yesterday. And I guess Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are each donating $500,000 in the wake of all this, where I'm just like, well, big whoop. Like, is that's y'all's response to this? I mean, this guy, first off, he's always in the news for something, and he's always running his mouth about something. There's no question about that, which is part of why, what I talked about earlier, I haven't been able to stand this dude for a long time. But when you start getting into stuff like this, at least most of what he's done to this point has been like, okay, well, he's just a weird dude. This is ridiculous. And I'm with you. Like, the response of the Nets, the response of the NBA on this situation is ridiculous. And at some point, you got to look around and be like, why do you continue to put up with this guy? This is ridiculous from Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, like, the presser, like Nick Friedel in particular was trying to ask questions about this to get it, like, to understand how you could possibly, and then Kyrie shut it down with it was ridiculous. And look, the thing is, with something like this. If there is more accountability, is there a positive? Like, does that help the bigger picture? Maybe not. You know, I mean, it's out there. It's out there, and he has done the damage. But still, I feel like it's been extremely weak by the NBA. And I know Kyrie put out a statement, and the statement was good. I mean, it was what you should say, but like, he was at a press conference, and it's abundantly clear to me that he has no clue and that he doesn't understand. I mean, I can't believe that he would understand what him doing something like that can mean to people in the real world.
Yeah, and again, like I said, people have thoughts. Like, Kyrie Irving is a very polarizing guy, and, you know, he got into all the vaccine stuff last year too, and, you know, could play on the road, couldn't play at home for a little while. I mean, it's just, there's all that stuff that's come along with him too. But, like, this stuff is just, it's different. Like, it's always something with this guy, and this latest incident is just ridiculous. So, you know, obviously the NBA is not going to do anything. Like, they're hoping at this point that, you know, they move on and this story's over with, and they put out their statements and all this other stuff. So I don't really expect anything else to come from this, but it's just ridiculous from Kyrie Irving. And, you know, that's without even getting into all the Kanye West stuff and Adidas and all that stuff that's gone with it too. But for those couple of things to be happening back to back, not good.
I mean, like you really can just say anything that's real is not real. And you can build a website and you can find, you know, a video of, you know, here, look at this, and here I've learned this, and you can get like a following of people who will believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is like this predates the internet. Like, the Holocaust isn't real crap. Like, predates the internet too, but like the internet, and I mean, Kyrie Irving, again, famously, like, I've never read a book. He sits there and like reads TikTok all day or whatever he does.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, again, it's a lot of words that apply to this. Terrifying is definitely one of them.
This has been the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. As always, we'll take your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll get back into the Titans coming up next. Take a look at the matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Get your thoughts on that matchup as well. Make sure you tune into the college football game of the week on 102.5 The Game this Saturday as MTSU takes on Louisiana Tech at 2 o'clock. College football game of the week brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of 29-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You love the game.
The door's on the board. Strike three, sounds win.
We live the game.
Going up against that defense.
He can make some plays and take that next step. We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome game 7.
What a stop made by Houston Sarah.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Bob's Steak and Chop House in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hi, this is Chef Mark again from Bob's Steak and Chop House at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Come join us before any Preds game or concert at Bridgestone Arena. Enjoy one of our prime steaks. Why Bob's, you may ask? Because at Bob's, we not only serve prime beef, but the top 2% of prime beef in the world. Try our certified Japanese A5 or Australian tomahawks. So come see us at Omni before you go to any game and make sure to ask for Chef Mark. Let's go Preds!
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Bob's Steak and Chop House in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Searching, ordering, tracking. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Go to BECN.com to get started building with Beacon. Beacon, always building.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down and maybe haven't been getting the exercise you need? If you want to get back to the man you used to be, but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns to problems with muscle gain, bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction, and if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Tennessee Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've treated thousands of men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 615-208-9090, or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments extra, results vary.
Now's the time to make a message known. All working-class Tennesseans vote no on Amendment 1 this voting season. Right to work does not belong in the state constitution. Hardworking families deserve to have their needs addressed in today's economy. Visit TennesseeWorkerAlliance.org, paid for by the Nashville Building Trades.
Hal Gill here for my friends at Dunkin'. Everyone celebrates the holidays in their own special way, but you go twice as hard as everyone else. So does Dunkin', which is why they've created 2 espresso-rich holiday signature lattes. The minty, cocoa-dusted peppermint mocha and creamy cinnamon sugary toasted white chocolate lattes are handcrafted with bold espresso and topped with whipped cream to help you do the most this year. So swing by the newly remodeled Dunkin' on Bradley Parkway in Nashville or the new Dunkin' in Mount Juliet and grab one today on the double.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. See better and stay safe on the road with our visibility event. Right now, you can earn up to $20 in bonus rewards when you buy a pair of Rain-X Quantum Wiper Blades and Sylvania Silver Star Ultra headlights. Take advantage of the rewards from October 31st until November 13th, in-store or on AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Offer available to AutoZone Rewards members.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3. Terang, it's a high fly ball. We got pass rushers. Awesome game set.
Checker flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hour number 3, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. We'll have Preds head coach John Hines coming up at 8:30. Get his thoughts on the Predators as they take on the Calgary Flames tonight. Need to win this one tonight if you're the Predators. Get things turned back around. We'll see what happens on that front. John Hines coming up at 8:30. Seth Emerson from The Athletic at 9 o'clock to discuss the Tennessee-Georgia matchup as well. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, the Titans taking on Kansas City coming up on Sunday Night Football. Ryan Tannehill, a limited participant yesterday in practice for the Titans, so we'll obviously keep a close eye on his status this week and monitor what his practice availability looks like. But if he's in there on Sunday night, which I kind of have a feeling he will be, but if he's in there on Sunday night, what's your game plan if you're the Titans to attack this Kansas City team? We talked yesterday about, defensively, we feel like the Titans can make some stops in this game. They've matched up well against Kansas City before. I also feel like City could still hang up 21, 24 points on you, and that's just the nature of their offense that they bring to the table. So offensively, if you're the Titans, you're coming off a game where you ran the ball with an extreme amount of success. We know the Titans are going to try to run the ball again, but if you get into a situation where you're down in this game and you're down by maybe 10, 12 points, somewhere in that neighborhood, you're going to have to throw the ball. What's the game plan for the Titans in this game, specifically if Tannehill's healthy? Because if he's not, I think we know what the game plan for the Titans is going to be.
Well, let's say he's not. Who are you starting?
I'm starting Woodside.
I think,
and I'm not hesitating.
I think I'm doing the same thing. But it's not going to go well. Don't get me wrong.
No.
It's not going to go well, but I think
I just feel better about being able to run the offense with Woodside, like an actual, attempt pass plays.
Right. And the thing is, even with Tannehill, even though he's not a big runner, Tannehill, he does extend plays, and every once in a while, he's a very good athlete. So you're probably taking that out, even if he can go, right? He's probably – it's not going to be like Carson Wentz last year with 2 messed up ankles and trying to like shotgun snap it to him and just stand there and throw. You can't even step into throws. It's not going to be that, but
right.
It's not going to be the same level of mobility. If they fall behind double figures in this game, then the game plan can be whatever it is, but it's not good. To me, you need to have that balance right from the start and get something going with the passing game early, just to let them think about something, because obviously Derrick Henry coming off that game, the Chiefs were going to be loaded up to stop him anyway, but they will be now. I mean, I think the Titans have been able to, especially in the first halves of a couple games, have a really nice balanced attack, even with shorter drops and doing some different things to give Tannehill more time, and that's what you got to do. And then who can make plays down the field? If you can actually get him back on the field and then get him time to throw, who's going to make plays?
Well, I thought he had some interesting comments yesterday from the standpoint of, he talked about his mobility, like part of the decision-making of knowing whether or not he's good to go is he used the word, like, can he protect himself? Like, can he protect himself in the pocket? Can he move a little bit? And I agree with you. Like, I don't think you're going to see, if Tannehill plays on Sunday, him take off for, some 12-yard sprint out there to get a first down on 3rd and 8. Like, I don't think it's going to be part of his game this week because of the ankle situation. But can you move around a little bit? Like, can you escape some pressure? Can you get outside the pocket and extend the play a little bit if you need to? Because if you can't, I mean, you're just really limited. I mean, you could certainly make the argument that even a hobbled Ryan Tannehill that can't move around very much might give you a better chance to win than what we saw from Malik Willis last week. But if he can't move around, it also goes back to what we talked about last week before we knew he was out. He's got to be able to protect himself too. Like, we know that the offensive line, if you're pass protecting, quarterback's going to get hit sometimes, and he's got to be able to protect himself. And if he can't, it's just a very interesting decision that the Titans have to make with Tannehill this week.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. It's like, you could look at this game and you could say, well, if you're going to possibly re-aggravate it, and yeah, he's less able to protect himself. He could very well re-aggravate it, and this could be just an ongoing thing. Or, again, this is where, like, medical information is, if you had one more week, are you basically all the way back the next week? Because if so, you could make the case. The thing is, though, if you're the Titans, you also feel like your defense can actually go in there. And this is certainly a test when you look toward the playoffs of, okay, this defense against that offense. Well, can you, if you can make it a game, then it's worth trying to win this game. I mean, I know I don't think this is going to play out this way, but you would have the tiebreaker for the 2. The tiebreaker for the 2 would be pretty good.
Well, the Titans, look, I can tell you, they're not going to be scared of Kansas City coming into this game. I mean, they've had a pretty good deal of success against the Chiefs. We've talked about that yesterday. So, I mean, the Titans are going to approach this game like they've got every opportunity to win it, as they should. Defensively, I think the defense is going to keep them in it. With this offense that's already limited anyway, if Tannehill's not at full capacity, what does that mean for the passing game? And that's not even factoring in, the receivers that they have. A lot of this is going to be on Todd Downing too this week, like devising a game plan if Tannehill's in there that gets him out of trouble quickly. Like the quick passing game, if he's in there, to me, he's got to be a big factor this week. You got to get the ball out of his hands quick.
Oh, without question. And I think like you got to also, so getting it out quick. So Kyle Phillips, you're obviously not part of this. Mason Kinsey's had what, one catch?
One catch for 3 yards.
But Hilliard, the tight ends, try to get the ball out quickly to something. The tight ends, I still look at that and say, okay, can that be anything more than it's been? Last week they schemed up a Chig play, which would have been a nice play, and I think just about any other quarterback in the league just steps in and delivers the easy, wide-open pitch and catch.
Yeah.
And then he makes a play. So they're trying to get things for him, but then it's just so hard. You can't build on anything in your passing game last week because you can't throw. But that, to me, that's got to be part of the answer too. Especially until you're more explosive. However more explosive you're going to be outside, you're certainly not that right now.
I go back to what I said Monday, and to me, this should be the case as they move forward here, regardless of what the offense. Like when Tannehill's back to full strength, if Derrick Henry's fully healthy, I don't care. Like you can't tell me if you've watched this offense this year that Dontrell Hilliard has not been one of your best playmakers when he's gotten the ball, both in the passing game. Obviously, he ran the ball well against Houston last week. Like, I think they need to find ways to get him on the field more. And I'm not suggesting that he needs to be on the field more, like taking carries away from Derrick Henry, but I'd like to see them both out there at times. I'd like to see, could you do something where you line him up in the slot and get him wide open that way? Could you line him, two backs in the backfield? You run him on a wheel route. Like, they've done some different things with Dontrell Hilliard this year. They had both of them in the game the other day in the package where you have the kind of the decoy play to Henry and you slip it to Hilliard, he runs the other way. That's not going to work every time, but just getting both of those guys on the field at the same time. Like, to me, when your offense is struggling, you need to find a way to get your best 11 playmakers out there. And I think Dontrell Hilliard, based on what we've seen thus far, might be a part of that group of the best 11.
Agree. It's funny when you say that, too, because hasn't Josh Heupel said like that Joe Milton's one of their top didn't he say something like that?
Maybe.
I just had that thought. Maybe we see like Joe Milton, Hail Mary from the 10, from his own 10 this week.
I could see that.
But I thought that Todd Downing had some creative stuff last week that was good, and this is where an OC has to be really creative. He's got to figure out ways to do different things, and you're right. If you have deficiencies at certain very important areas, but you're strong at other areas, well, lean into that strength. I mean, I'm not even opposed to just, I don't know, can Dontrell Hilliard be a slot receiver? I mean, give it a shot, man.
I'd look into it. I mean, he's not going to be, Kyle Phillips and Mason Kinsey, who that's their job to be slot receivers out there. But
he runs some pretty vicious routes.
He does. Just get him the ball. That's the thing. Like, get the ball in the hands of guys that can make plays for you. And right now, like I look at this Titans offense, especially at pass catchers, I think there's a limited amount of guys that can make plays for him. And Dontrell Hilliard, I think, needs to get the ball more. And again, like I don't think it's necessarily a great strategy to take the ball out of Derrick Henry's hand. So, I'm not advocating for like alternating drives with Henry and Hilliard. But
no.
Find a way to get them on the field at the same time. And they've done that a little bit, and I think they should do it more.
I'm with you, man. I mean, two-back looks. I'm a big fan of two-back looks. People are just not ready for that anymore.
No.
Like the Vols, for example. Let's keep going back to the Vols. I got Vols on the brain. All of a sudden they come with the –
Joe's so excited for this game.
I know. I'm sorry. But, they load up in the red zone sometimes, and all of a sudden they're handing off to Princeton Fant. How about a handoff to Chig? Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, wait. They may have tried that this year. Well, maybe a handoff to Chig on, like, 2nd and 7 and not 3rd and 1.
Or handoff to Malik Willis. Well,
yeah,
maybe.
Oh, wait.
Maybe not, yeah.
615-737-1025. We'll take more of your thoughts on the Titans and the Chiefs. What do you make of the matchup? What do you make of the Titans' offense? How do they generate more explosive plays? 615-737-1025. More on that coming up next. Make sure you start NFL Week 9 off the right way with a no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And it doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. You've got Davis Mills and the mighty Houston Texans tonight taking on the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles on the money line. I'll take Jalen Hurts over on rushing yards, and I'll take Miles Sanders as an anytime touchdown scorer as well. But you can take it any way you want to take it. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Just sign up with promo code ROB if you don't already have an account. If you do already have FanDuel, you're all set to go. Just sign in to see what you've got. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. 3+ legs, minimum $1 bet required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. A max free bet of $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Black Friday deals are here earlier than ever at Electronic Express. Come into our convenient locations for great deals on all of your favorite brands like Samsung, GE, Microsoft, Cuisinart, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, housewares, furniture, mattresses, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com and get free express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
How can a half-carat diamond magically grow into a 2-carat diamond? With Genesis Diamond's 110% diamond upgrade guarantee.
Our trade-up policy is the best in the United States.
That's Stasia at Genesis, explaining how if you buy a diamond today and want to trade it in for a bigger one next year, Genesis always gives you back your original purchase price plus an extra 10%.
We will gladly give you every single penny you paid for the diamond plus an extra 10%, which is amazing. No one does that.
As a real-life example, take Stasia's customer Paul.
When he first started, he got a half carat, and then as he became more successful, we rewarded him. He came in and he got a 3/4 carat, and then he's traded for a carat. I'm sure I'll see him this year for 1.5 carats. As they grow and change and become more successful, their engagement ring can grow with them also.
And there's no catch, no minimum trade-up requirement, and it works on diamond studs and diamond pendants as well.
You get every single investment dollar you put into the diamond, you will get an extra 10% towards the new diamond.
Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
You can trade as many times as you wish.
Continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. I'm Michael Naranjo, and I'm a veteran. Today, I'm a sculptor. My fingers are my eyes.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
With DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
It's Pro Time, which means at Lowe's, you're invited to enjoy a Lowe's Pro Happy Hour. Kick back with free Pepsi Cola drinks and Frito-Lay snacks. Plus, earn 3 times bonus points per dollar on purchases of select Pepsi products. Come into Lowe's and get the full MVP treatment at Pro Happy Hour on November 17th from 2 to 5 p.m. While supplies last. Bonus points offer valid 10/27 through 12/8. Calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. See Lowes.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way, I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rex.
Play silly underdog picks today. Pick 3 football underdog teams you think will win this week for a chance to win great prizes. You can play now at thegamenashville.com or the Game Nashville app. Silly underdog picks presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on this Thursday morning. Preds head coach John Hines will join the show coming up at 8:30, so looking forward to that. Right now, taking your thoughts on the Titans and the Chiefs at 615-737-1025. I think it was Big E on the text line that says, agree totally with you guys that Hilliard and Chig and other tight ends should be in the game plan with Henry. With that defense, they have a chance to win this game. Talking about the game against the Chiefs. Titans in Truth texting in. Says, a good offensive coordinator knows how to scheme guys open, hide deficiencies, and knows how to adapt. Todd Downing has no idea how to do this. This is from Titans and Truth on the text line.
Oh, fire! Is it back to fire down? We haven't had a big fire Downing week.
Oh, it's still there every now and then.
Yeah. Hey, some people have their minds made up on Todd Downing. I mean, Jared's kind of gone that way, right?
Well, I mean, the question that I would ask back to that, and look, by no means do I think Todd Downing's perfect. So we've talked about that a lot here on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But scheming guys open sounds great. You also have to be able to create separation. And I just wonder how many guys the Titans currently have that can create separation at the moment. I mean, it's not a ton.
No, for sure. Here's the thing for Chris. Again, I'm not sitting here telling you, and we haven't at all this year. Todd Downing's great. We've said, I don't know how many times. Yeah, this is clearly, he has not been as good at OC as Arthur Smith. A little different situation, but still, he's not as good as Arthur Smith at OC. I think that last game, to me, with a quarterback who can't throw. Like, you cannot throw the football in an NFL game. And, yes, you could just say, hand it to Henry. Like, there's still play design, there's still play choice, and there were some creative things in that game that did scheme people open. Again, Chickaconquo wide open.
Yeah.
Make an easy throw. Arm punt that to him. I thought it was a good day for Todd Downing. That's just me. Look, Chris and people who are just, he's the worst, it doesn't matter what happens. I honestly believe that. I believe it. There could be, smack you right in the face that he has an incredible game, and he's had good days as Titans OC, and you still would find a reason that it was everything but him. So that's fine. I don't even know how to argue anymore. If your mind is made up on someone like that, then you're just going to spin it.
Well, and look, the Titans offense, it's got to get better. We've talked about that. If they're going to win the playoffs, it's got to get better. They're the 32nd ranked offense in total yardage. We've talked about the points per game. It's not good enough. Like, it's got to get better. How much better is it going to get? I have no idea. But I do think, like, when you view games individually, like, I agree. Like, individually, the game on its own, I thought Todd Downing had a pretty good day on Sunday. Given what his situation was at quarterback, look, they ran the ball for over 300 yards. Now, it's easy to say, well, why does the offensive coordinator get credit for that? You got Derrick Henry. But, you're calling the plays. You have the design. We just talked about one play that I thought was a great call, was the kind of the decoy play to Henry, and you sneak one in there to Hilliard, and what do you have on that play, like 25 yards? Like, that's a great play call, I thought. So I agree. Like, Todd Downing has become such a polarizing guy. And, look, I've got my mind open on him. Like, if you get to the end of this season, and you've said this, and you feel like there's a better option for you at offensive coordinator, well, go get it. Go get the better option.
And maybe it's Tim Kelly.
It could be.
But he's here, so why is he getting no blame now?
Right. That's the other thing. And we talked about, Tim Kelly coming in as the passing game coordinator. Well, look at the Titans' passing game this year. Now, if we're being fair, we know that there are reasons beyond Tim Kelly why the passing game is struggling, but everybody talks about Tim Kelly being the next OC for the Titans. He's a passing game coordinator, and their passing offense is terrible.
Right. Yeah, I don't blame him. I blame, not being able to block and not being explosive on the outside. But if you're going to use the same standard that you're using right now to find everything that goes wrong as a comment on Todd Downing, then let's start ripping Tim Kelly for this passing offense. You are what your record says you are, right? Is that not right?
They're 5-2.
Well, but your passing game record is, Yeah, it's if you have your mind made up, then it's made up, and that's, to me, it's like what you just said is how I'm looking at it. I think how people should look at it, with an open mind. He's had good days. He's had some bad days. He had a bad day in the playoff game. It wasn't just Tannehill.
No.
Todd Downing had a bad day. Like, again, when it's easy for every amateur hashtag Jared's film room person to point out how predictable certain plays are and how the design didn't even work, and it made it so easy to pick off 2 of those 3 passes. He had a bad day. Yeah. So that still happened. So I'm certainly not sitting here telling you that, Todd Downing is it's funny though, at the end of last year there were people talking about Todd Downing at a head coach's job. I'm seeing that now with Shane Bowen too.
Yeah. Well, I go back to what I said last segment. Like, finding a way to get your best 11 guys on the field. Like, that is such a cliche thing that gets thrown out there all the time. But, like, finding a way to do it. If that means Dontrell Hilliard's a part of it, I think you need to do that more often. If that means Chig is a part of it, I think you need to do that more often. The Titans will never admit this publicly because, they tried to get Ryan Tannehill on this yesterday at the press conference, and he was like, we're 5-2, our job's to win games. But there's no way you're sitting in that building right now if you're Todd Downing and Mike Vrabel and this offense, and you're like, yeah, we're really happy with the way things are going offensively right now. Like, you can't be. Now, maybe you come to a realization at some point that that's just what it is, and that's going to have to be the way that you play the game. And maybe they've gotten there already. I don't know. But the passing game, there's certainly room for a ton of improvement. So I think you should be tweaking things and looking at different ideas and concepts all the time if you're the Titans, and I think they are. Like, I think, Vrabel heading into the bye week talked about taking that as a time of looking around saying who should be playing more, who should be playing less. And a lot of people said, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that Hooper's not going to be playing anymore and Okonkwo is going to be in there, all these different things? And it didn't necessarily mean that. But I just feel like when your offense is struggling to get going in the passing game as much as it is, you got to find different ways to try to get your playmakers the ball, however limited the playmakers may be at this point.
No, totally agree. Look, it's a tough job, but it is still on the OC to get this done. This hit a nerve too. Dustin, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, who also tried to bring LeBron into the Kyrie discussion for some reason. I have no idea how that relates, but he says, LOL, us Downey haters can easily turn that back to you, that we're just going to spin. Well, if you're defending him, okay, I'm trying to read this. We can say you're just going to go spin it because he's done nothing to defend him just as much as he's done something to down him. Okay. Anyway, I think what he's saying is so worse you can spin it. You can spin it positively for Todd Downing too, but I don't think I'm doing that. I'm not sitting here telling you that, oh man, Todd Downing is doing a bang-up job, folks. I don't think that you can put everything on him at all. As Tyler says, he makes some boneheaded calls in key moments. I totally agree. I agree with you. We just talked about the playoff game last year and a couple of the plays this year that were just poorly timed, and then he's saying that the one was well blocked to Malik Willis. No, it wasn't.
It was not.
No. We've talked about all these things. But to me, it's just if you're going to every single thing that goes wrong, you want to go to him on it, I think that you're being a little bit simplistic.
I would agree. And this is a big challenge for him coming up in this game because I feel like the Titans are going to have to score some points in this game, and we'll see if they're able to do it. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. By the way, I got a texture that says, we're all even talking about.
Yep.
Malik Willis completed 60% of his passes, LOL. He did. He was 6 of 10.
It's a fair point.
The numbers are the numbers.
60% is not bad. You'll take that, right?
It's not bad.
Good point. See? We've been looking at this all wrong.
I went back and watched the crossing route that Robert Woods
Were you in hashtag Jared's film room?
I was not in Jared's film room.
Okay.
But just the crossing route that he ran, he was open the whole time. He was open the whole play. And then finally, 4 seconds later, Malik Willis got him the ball. Okay.
Well, there are a couple of the other pass plays. There were very open receivers that he didn't throw to, but that one is are you confirming no one within 20 yards? And then wait. It was rough, man.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by Predators head coach John Hines. We'll get his thoughts on his hockey team as they take on the Calgary Flames coming up tonight. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, TJ Anderson here. With real estate listings, you have to read between the lines. Like cozy means super small. Great bones means money pit. And motivated sellers? Well, that means the honeymoon is probably over for them. My team at TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty is ready to help both home buyers and sellers decode the market. Oh, and if the house needs a little TLC, you should probably pack your hazmat suit. Google TJ Anderson Homes, read our reviews, and see why we are referred for a reason. TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, 615-432-2919.
Fall is my favorite time of the year. Colorful leaves, cool air, football, and the start of hockey season. When it comes to lassoing up my favorite adult beverages before the game, I trot on over to Red Spirits and Wine. At Red, I always find the best selection of beer, distilled spirits, hard seltzers, cigars, wines from around the world, and so much more. Red's Cracker Jack crew always provides the friendliest service and straight shooting recommendations without ever coming off like like some of those patronizing whoop-de-doos you can lock horns with at some places. Red also offers a variety of delivery options like Drizzly and DoorDash. It's like in that old Ozzy Osbourne tune we sing around the campfire. If you could see inside my head, you'd see that black and white is red. Red Spirits and Wine. Flying high again at Highway 70 South and Old Hickory Boulevard. And check Red out on social media and at redspirits.com.
Hey, it's Hutton. Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Replace your old unit fast before new regulations increase prices up to 20%. Get a new unit today at today's price and receive up to $1,500 off, or get 18 months of no payments, so the first payment is not until spring of 2024. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Schedule your appointment now at springhillac.com. That's springhillac.com.
When joint pains cause you to sit out on everyday activities, it's time to make an appointment with Dr. Matthew Beal at Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Dr. Beal can diagnose your problem and treat the joint pain for both surgical and non-surgical matters. Board certified and fellowship trained, Dr. Beal specializes in hip, knee, joint replacement, and adult joint reconstruction. Visit tn.houston.com to learn more about Dr. Beal and to book an appointment online. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Did he get it? He did. Touchdown, Vandy. This is your home for Vanderbilt football. This Saturday, Vandy football back at home welcomes South Carolina to First Bank Stadium. Coverage starts at 5 p.m. Vanderbilt is on 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Hey, this is Jordan Rogers, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. The Predators taking on the Calgary Flames tonight, and to help us talk more about that, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Predators head coach John Hines. John, good morning. Did you pack your snowshoes with you to Calgary?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, it is. It's snowy, cold, and dark here, that's for sure. So I kind of looked at the weather yesterday, so it was 70 back in Nashville. But first snow of the year. Thanks. It was Halloween here, so that's Western Canada.
It is very early for the first snow of the year. We appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. So, John, obviously a frustrating night the other night against Edmonton, the result not going your way. Just from your vantage point behind the bench right now, what are you seeing or maybe what are you not seeing from your group right now that's led to this recent stretch of play here?
I think, a big thing we talk with our team about and when we're watching, I just think our execution with the puck and our decision-making with the puck it puts us in trouble at times, whether there's decisions or execution things on the breakout where we can get out of our zone easier, get up and get on the attack. I think there's some plays and things through the neutral zone where there's plays to be made, and either we're not making the right read or our execution isn't very good, and it fuels the other team's transition back at us, and then we get caught a little bit on our heels. And I think that's something that we've addressed with our team, something we worked on in practice the last few days. And I just think that part of our game is a little bit deficient right now, and I think we have better decision makers, and we can execute at a higher level to get our game to where it needs to be and where we can play faster. When you don't execute well with the puck, you don't play as fast as you need to.
So, John, obviously we don't see behind the scenes, and I haven't seen every second of out in the arena. But just from my perspective, I had not seen you as angry as you appeared to be when you called that timeout in the first period the other night. First of all, I guess, what can you tell us about that conversation, and what is your just overall frustration level right now?
Yeah, to be honest, I know it probably looked that way, but it was more sometimes you have to talk loud because they got the music going in the timeout, but I wasn't necessarily yelling at them. I just said, there's a lot of hockey left in the game, right? We got a 1-goal lead, and then we made some mistakes, but we had to dig in. And I was just trying to get them back a little bit. Okay, we got 3 quick goals scored on us, so we got to refocus, and we got to have some pushback in the game at that moment. For me, I think dealing with the team, it's not. I don't think frustration is the right word. I think it's challenging. It's challenging to work with these guys to get some individual games better, to get our team game better. I think when you get an adversity, it's not a time where you got to be. I think you need to support, coach, teach, lead. We thought to the guys, there's a way you have to get out of it, and by yelling and screaming, complaining, and create an environment where people don't feel comfortable to be able to work on things to get better. That's not the right way to go. So I think we've handled it the right way. I think we have a good room. I had lunch with coffee with some of the captains yesterday for about 2 hours and had a great discussion in the room. So we're working through it, but I think it's in a good place that way. We just got to get our game better.
John, from a lineup standpoint, I mean, you guys have obviously been trying some different players in the top 6 over the course of the last couple of weeks, and you kind of been shifting things around there. Basically, 5 of the 6 guys in the forward group have kind of remained the same. But what are you looking for with that last spot in the top 6 right now, and what's been, I guess, the most difficult thing to find from that standpoint to this point?
Well, some of that comes, that can be, it's probably a longer answer, but I think the shorter answer if you have Granlund's line together and you have Johansson and Niederreiter, which has shown to be a good pair, we'd like to see a guy that's got some speed, that's a puck hunting guy that can work. Johansson's a playmaking center. He needs, he plays his best when he has speed on his wing. He and Nino did like playing with Sherwood. But obviously we made a decision there that that's not going to work right now. We tried Glass in the middle to see if we could open up a top 6 spot in the middle and moving Granlund to the wing. That wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be yet. Doesn't mean we're done trying it, but you're trying to give these guys some opportunities. Tolvanen trying to give these guys some opportunities to stick and make an impact, make some plays, be an offensive threat. Look to be complementary to what the line is going to be, and right now there's been signs of it, but nothing is really clicked from an offensive perspective.
Well, John, you mentioned the move on Sherwood. What's been your impressions? What's been the feedback you've gotten from Philip Tomasino and his play down in Milwaukee, and could we see a move made on that regard at any time soon?
Yeah, Philip has had a good start. I think he's one of the reasons we have him down there is you want a young offensive player to be able to be in situations where he's able to produce and get the feel of scoring and making plays. But also, you don't want to have it, short-lived too, where it's just all based on production. Where one of the things that we felt was best for Philip, where he can be a really impact player in the NHL is rounding out his game. Getting very consistent in the way that he plays. He's done a good job. The season's still really young down there, but he's definitely someone that, we watch clips, we keep an eye on. Parson is another guy. Jankowski is a guy that's played in the NHL, and I think he's their leading scorer. He's a hot hand right now. So I think there's, Philip is definitely someone that will be back with us. We're just trying to make the right decision on when.
At this point, I'm just going to press on that point. Then, do you have a timetable in mind? Like, have you kind of said from the start, okay, let's try it for X amount of time, see where it is at that point, or are you just sort of, as the new information keeps coming in, that could be altered significantly?
Yeah, I would say, if we don't have a set timetable, Joe, in the sense that okay, it's going to be 20 games, 25 games, 15 games. I think a lot of it is going to be based on how he goes, and talking with Scott Nick, I'll talk with Carl. Where is he? Watching clips, where is he at? Is he maturing? Is his game maturing? Is his point production there? Is he ready to come in? And for us too, like as you can see, it's hard. It's been a little bit hard for us to find that top six guy that can play consistent. Like it's a big jump for some young guys where you're facing, you're going against the top 6 forwards on the other team, the top D pairs. The minutes are harder, the competition's harder. Mentally you got to be on your game all the time. And be a top 6 forward for us. Well, we got to go through the development process. So, as quick or as long as that takes, we want to make sure it's the right decision when he comes back.
Preds head coach John Hines on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, John, taking on the Calgary Flames tonight in a very tough place to play at the Saddle Dome. What stands out to you about this Calgary team so far?
Well, they've changed some players, obviously, with Gaudreau and Tkachuk leaving, but they've obviously brought in Kadri and Huberdeau and Uyghur. So, very similar. I mean, they're a big, strong, fast team. They get to a forecheck game. They play a North game, and they're going to be, they're a hard-working group that's got talent. So, I think it's very similar to what we saw last year. Although the players have changed, I think the style of game from what you see on the pre-scouts and watching the play is going to be very similar.
John, we've talked about the forwards. What about your D-core right now? Where do you think things are? Obviously, there's been some mixing and matching there. What's the short-term outlook for those guys, and how do you think they're playing right now?
I think they've been. I think it's been good and bad at times. I think we're internally with us and talking with the guys. We'd like to see a bit more from Fabro and Carrier. Just helping them and getting them to take the next step to be guys that can make some impacts with us. I think Yoshi's game is coming. I've liked Ekholm and McDonough with the new pairs, but kind of like everything with our team. Like there's some good things there, but we've all got to be 1%, 2% better to get ourselves playing better hockey individually, and that bleeds into the team game, and that gets you to win. So it's not the defense, in my opinion, is a little bit no different than the forwards right now. We need a little bit more from everybody.
Well, John, really appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. Good luck coming up tonight against Calgary. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Enjoy the nice weather there. See you.
We will. Thank you very much. Preds head coach John Hines, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Lots of interesting things that have come from that conversation. And, Joe, there's one very interesting part about this game tonight that, based on a decision that was made yesterday, I'm intrigued to see what happens in this game tonight. We'll get to that coming up next. It's also time for Preds Pick to Click coming up next as well. Be the first caller at 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the Preds. If you guess the goal scorer for the Preds tonight, and win a pair of tickets to a future Nashville Predators home game. We'll get to that coming up next. But first, Joe Rexrode has a word from OrderGreen.com.
I do, because OrderGreen.com is the nation's #1 online shop for all things cannabis. You're talking a wide selection of high-quality THC, CBD products, fantastic products that I love, products that I have friends and family members who also love. Very beneficial, both mentally and physically. You got edibles, gummies, vapes, flower. They've got anything you can think of, and they have a team with extensive knowledge, so you know you're getting high-quality stuff from reputable providers. Nationwide same-day delivery right to your doorstep. You get 25% off every shipment of gummies if you have a subscription to OrderGreen.com and use promo code Joe20. You get 20% off your first purchase.
Silly Underdog Picks is back. Get your friends and sign up today at theGameNashville.com. Pick the 3 football underdog teams each week you think will win for a chance to win weekly prizes, like a pair of tickets to a sporting event or to a concert in Nashville. Oh, yeah! Go to theGameNashville.com or the Game Nashville app and sign up and play now. Then tune in every Thursday at noon for our expert picks. Silly Underdogs is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. After a foggy start in some spots the afternoon, mainly sunny and even warmer than yesterday. High temperatures mid to upper 70s. That continues for tomorrow. Next rain chance going to be Saturday afternoon into Sunday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
There are jewelry stores, and then there's Genesis Diamonds, the cutting-edge industry leader, the pioneer. It's no secret that jewelry stores across America watch what Genesis is doing. Genesis was the first to offer a free lifetime warranty, the first to offer a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, the first to offer aggressive long-term zero-interest financing. And Genesis is always on the cutting edge in design and fashion. The styles other jewelers say are new and exciting were new and exciting for us 4 years ago. Genesis has the fashion-forward brands other stores aren't even allowed to carry. It's no wonder you see jewelers from other cities coming to Genesis to see what we're all about, and even buy their wives' jewelry from us. For selection, quality, service, warranties, and guarantees, Genesis leads. Others follow. So for diamonds, engagement rings, exclusive designer jewelry for any occasion, don't compromise. Come to the jeweler that sets the industry standards year after year. Genesis Diamonds and pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
People of all ages can experience spine pain. What hurts the most is what it does to your life, making simple activities feel like an uphill battle. Houston Clinic Orthopedics and their team of specialists aim to get you back to your active and enjoyable life. Let Houston Clinic Orthopedics bring lasting relief if you're suffering from any of the following: spinal stenosis, herniated discs, sciatica, degenerative disc disease, and more. To experience world-class orthopedic care, visit tn.houston.com, where experience matters.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Chase McCade.
You get a little fired up for that. Pads start popping.
Willie Donick.
And you're just thinking, this guy's unbelievable.
And Derek Mason.
Now I got to run a little bit faster so I don't get hit.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. It's time for Preds Picks to click.
And a shot at the score.
Do you think you know who will score a goal in tonight's Predators game?
Little give and go.
Shoot your shot for a chance to win Preds tickets. Call 615-737-1025 now. Pick to Click is brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Visit tjandersonhomes.com to see why they are preferred so often. And by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. It's Pick to Click, now on Robby and Rexrode.
It is that time of the day, time for Preds Pick to Click here on Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty and Superbook Sports. The Predators on the road tonight in a brisk Calgary, Alberta, where right now it is 7 degrees Fahrenheit. So yet another day to be thankful that we live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Where it is not 7 degrees Fahrenheit.
So if you're on that trip right now, you need a dub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like beyond the fact that you're
3-6-1,
but just to warm your soul a little bit.
That's right. The standings in Preds Pick to Click are as follows. The listeners, Michelle Knezovic and myself, all tied at the top with 2 correct answers. Joe Rexrode at the bottom with 1 correct answer in this competition.
Ha.
So we'll see what.
How much picking on me do we have to do on this show?
Sorry, Joe.
To see how that gets done.
I'm just kidding.
Today, let's go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in William, today's participant. William, thanks for calling in. Who is your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators?
I believe I'll take Philip Forsberg tonight.
Philip Forsberg. William, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Philip Forsberg, the selection from William, and a nice mute by Rexrode.
I said, dang it.
Well, Joe, believe it or not, you're first up today after William.
Once every 2 months occasion. Wow, it's like a national holiday.
It is. Forsberg off the board. Your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators.
So when I get first pick, then we get the caller who makes the correct pick. When you guys get the first pick, someone's like, "Oh, how about Alex Carrier?"
I was gifted Forsberg the other day, and I gladly accepted, and he scored.
By the way, it is Alex Carrier.
Yes.
John Hines and David Boyle both call him Carrier. Like he's Mark Carrier, former safety of the Chicago Bears. I'd just like to point that out.
There's a lot
We
of that
love the
going
Bears.
They're always on the brain. Bears on the brain. Bear down. Hashtag bear down. Hashtag Jared's film room. Matt Duchene. He's going to score a freaking goal at some point, right?
He's got 2.
But like when I pick him.
We'll see. Forsberg and Duchene off the board. Michelle, you're up next. Your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators.
Listen, he was my guy last year, and I feel like every time I picked him, he didn't score. But Ryan Johansson, the last 2 times, well, the first time I wanted to, and the second time I picked him, he scored. So Ryan Johansson is scoring.
Ryan Johansson, the goal scorer. I'm going to go with a guy tonight that has not done much so far offensively, but I'm going to take a flyer. Yakov Trenin. Yakov Trenin on the board tonight for the Nashville Predators.
Okay.
That means I left Niederreiter.
I mean, like, no one picks Niederreiter. He only has 5 goals.
I know.
No one
picked
picks
him before.
And so did I.
But I feel like we've had a few where he just doesn't get picked, which is crazy. But maybe I should ask myself, can I change the Nino?
This would be a very boring competition if we just picked the same guys every time. Would it not?
Yeah.
AKA last year.
But I don't have Yarncroak anymore. Rexcroak is gone, so I can't.
I'm going with Trenin. I got a feeling that he's scoring tonight.
Okay. I don't mind that.
This has been Pred's pick to click.
No Tanners, either. No one ever picks him.
I didn't pick him. I picked him before. He was the first pick last time out.
Right.
Caller picked him.
Yeah.
You talk about nobody picks him.
I don't know.
Joe just zones out.
Pred's pick to click presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty and Superbook Sports. Interesting conversation with John Hines that we just had on the program. Look, the bottom line, there's a move that's going to be made today, I think, with the Predators. They waived Kiefer Sherwood yesterday, so he is not going to be in the game tonight. He just got waived by the Predators yesterday. So that should come out today, whether or not somebody has picked up Kiefer Sherwood or whether he's made it through to Milwaukee to play for the Admirals. So we'll see what happens on that front. But with Sherwood being waived, like somebody's coming up. And it didn't sound like that was going to be Philip Tomasino based on how I was kind of reading in between the lines of John Hines there. Number one, do you agree with that? And number two, what did you make of John Hines' thoughts on Philip Tomasino and his progress thus far?
Well, they're pretty similar to his thoughts when they sent him down. So, what he's saying is, yes, he has offensive skill, but you were not just going to base it on how many goals he scores on there, but there's rounding out his game, right? So that's what they're looking for. I take his comments as he's not going to be the move. It'd be kind of surprising if he was the move after what Hines just said to us, wouldn't it be?
It would be surprising.
So, Juuso Parssinen?
Could be him.
Is that the move?
It could be Jankowski, who's started pretty well down there. But this is when you start running into these guys, this is what I was talking about. Like Mark Jankowski, as good as he's playing, as well as he's been playing down there in Milwaukee, he's not a top 6 forward at the NHL level. He is not. Kiefer Sherwood is not a top 6 forward. Cole Smith is not a top 6 forward. Now, they've not tried to make Cole Smith a top 6 forward, but you get my point. Like, you keep bringing up these guys from Milwaukee, especially some of these older guys that have been around for a while. Like Kiefer Sherwood's 26, 27. Mark Jankowski's 27 years old. He's played in the NHL before. He's not a top 6 forward. So, like, if you think that that's going to be your answer, it's not going to be. And, I know everybody's clamoring for Eeli Tolvanen and Cody Glass. Those guys aren't ready to be in the top 6. Like, Eeli Tolvanen, I'm sorry to tell y'all this, he's not a top 6 forward. He's not. Everybody keeps acting like he is. He's not a top 6 forward. There's zero evidence in the NHL to support him being a top 6 forward. Zero. He's got 11 days worth of where he broke out scoring goals on a power play. And that's it. It's like 15 games where he looked pretty good on the power play for the Predators. That is it. That is the only evidence that Eeli Tolvanen has in the NHL of being a top 6 quality forward. So the bottom line right now is, for that 6th spot in the top 6, they don't have one. They don't have a top 6 forward at the moment. So, look, I don't know who they're bringing up. Obviously, I think they're bringing up somebody, so we'll keep our eye on that as the transactions kind of flow through today. But, like, to me, Philip Tomasino is their best shot. I said this yesterday. I believe it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. But to me, like, it's time to stop screwing around and bring him back up. John Hines just talked about Johansson, and when he's playing his best, he has a speedy winger with him. And I'm like, well,
I got one in mind.
There's Philip Tomasino there. And look, like I said, I've said this many times. I do not know more hockey than John Hines knows or any of these players know. I understand all that, but I've been very consistent on this. I disagreed with the decision to send Tomasino down from the start, and the more I watch them play without him right now, the more I think they should bring him back up. And I'm not saying that Philip Tomasino comes back up and fixes all their problems right now and that they're struggling because he's not there. I'm not saying that at all. Like, they got a lot of things that are wrong with them right now, and Philip Tomasino is not going to come in and just magically fix it. But I feel like he's your best shot as a top 6 forward along with those other two, and they've just not given him a look yet this year.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you said what you said there, because obviously this is such a focal point because it's a surprise and because it's one of their young promising players, and they really need some of these young promising players to actually pan out in the NHL, because I think you're right on Tolvanen. Tolvanen, I don't know that bust is fair, but Tolvanen is not going to, I don't believe, live up to his draft position, and certainly not up to the hype that then followed that shortly after.
We're sitting here having another discussion about him where he can't even stay in the lineup consistently.
Right. So Tomasino is the next guy where you're like, okay, where is this going? But right now, the answer is that the guys who have been established in this league, who have produced, who have played well, who are supposed to be driving the bus, have to play well, and they're not. So Tomasino in or out, it's an important story, and it could help them some. But like, if these guys don't start playing better, then it's not going to matter.
Well, and this is kind of a situation too where the numbers, I think, don't necessarily line up with what I'm seeing out there. Like, Philip Forsberg has 10 points in 10 games. Matt Duchene has 9 points in 10 games. Like, that's not that far off from where you would expect them to be. And yet I watch those guys play, and I think to myself, there is another level or two that you can get to on a consistent basis.
Forsberg against St. Louis was
Forsberg
great.
against St. Louis was great. Duchene against St. Louis was really good. And that's beyond just the production that they put together. I mean, they were controlling the game. And that's what I need to see more of. Like, how many times have you watched them play this year and thought to yourself, Roman Josi's in control of the game, or Philip Forsberg's in control of the game? It hadn't happened very often. So, and I think some of it was exactly what John Hines was talking about with us the last segment. Some of their decisions with the puck have just been bad. And all of a sudden it's a turnover, or you're dumping the puck in for no reason, and things are going the other way, and you get caught in transition. Like the Draisaitl play the other night for the first goal for Edmonton. It's a turnover, and you're going the other way, and nobody gets back on the back check. Now, granted, it was a absurd pass from Leon Draisaitl, but it all starts with a turnover and you not getting back. Like, those are the things that continue to happen with this team. So, like, the production-wise, Josi's not where we thought he would be, but Forsberg and Duchene are about right on track. But that's a situation where the numbers and the eyeball test do not at all line up to me.
Yeah, Duchene. And look, Duchene he's had some sweet opportunities that aren't going for him right now.
Yep.
And they went for him more last year, but I still think he played at a higher level last year,
I agree. Well, the bottom line is, we talked about their shooting percentages last year. I mean, what they were hovering around like 18, 19, 20% basically the whole year last year. Well, right now, Philip Forsberg's at 9, and Matt Duchene's is at 8.
And, of course, one way to juice those up like they did last year is to, produce on the power play, which they did last game.
That would be nice.
See, I'm finding positives.
615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Seth Emerson, who covers the Georgia Bulldogs for The Athletic. We'll get his thoughts on the matchup between Tennessee and Georgia coming up on Saturday. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Stuck at work without a radio?
Wait a minute. Disastrous.
I hate that.
It's got to be there.
That's okay. Download the Game Nashville app or go to thegamenashville.com and listen live. We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3, The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. banking those turnovers. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. Vanderbilt football continues the week of preparation for Saturday's matchup with South Carolina at First Bank Stadium. Having the advantage in turnovers is always key, with Vandy's defense having recorded a takeaway in all but one game this season, gaining 4 last time out against Missouri. They included that scoop and score by C.J. Taylor, and coordinator Nick Howell sees number 13 getting better all the time.
He is, and like they all are. The more you practice, the better you get. And he's practicing more. He's young, and he's just getting better, and so it's exciting, very exciting.
The turnover battle's been a deciding factor for South Carolina. They're 4-0 when they have the advantage and 1-3 when they don't. Pre-game at 5 Saturday on the Vanderbilt Sports Network. Big opportunity for Vanderbilt soccer tonight, facing top seed and third-ranked Alabama in the SEC tournament semifinals. The Commodores got there with a shootout win over ninth-ranked Arkansas in the quarters, wrapping it up with a stop by Sarah Wajelko. The sophomore goalkeeper tells the SEC network she had to up her game against the Razorbacks.
I think it was a whole team effort. Our defense really stepped up after their goal and just came back and fought extremely hard, and we got the result we wanted.
Fellow goalkeeper Kate Devine delivered the winning score in PKs, and today's match with the Tide is scheduled for 5 o'clock in Pensacola. Another honor on the resume of Vanderbilt baseball great Dansby Swanson. The Atlanta Braves shortstop is a Gold Glove winner for the first time in his pro career. The current Vandy boys continue fall training at Hawkins Field. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the latest power tool in roofing. Searching, ordering, tracking. Plus the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Go to BECN.com to get started building with Beacon. Beacon, always building.
Hey football fans, Dak Prescott here. And I'm here to tell you that with NFL Sunday Ticket only on DirecTV, you can watch your favorite team no matter where you live. Because NFL Sunday Ticket gives you every live out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. So switch to DirecTV and learn how to get the 2022 NFL Sunday Ticket season included at no extra cost. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
With choice package and above, 24-month agreement required. Call for details.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, the road trip continues for your Nashville Predators as they battle the Calgary Flames. Coverage begins at 7. We are your home for Smashville. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne,
the Cromwell Media Station,
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Welcome back in. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. Looking ahead to the big one coming up on Saturday, Tennessee taking on Georgia in Athens. And to help us talk more about that, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Seth Emerson, who does a great job covering Georgia football for The Athletic. Seth, good morning. How we doing?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
We're great. Thanks for taking time to be with us. So what is the vibe like this week down in Georgia as Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs prepare to take on Tennessee? Obviously, Georgia's been in many of these type games before over the course of the past couple of years, but just what's the vibe like on campus and around this football team heading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they've been in a lot of these games, so this is just the latest big game that they've been in, but everyone understands that it's a very big game. And what's different about this one is it's kind of the combination of, I mean, it's not a national championship or a playoff semifinal or an SEC championship, but it is acknowledged as an important game that is also at home, and it's late in the year. It's different. They had big games early in the year before 2019. They hosted Notre Dame in September. They hosted LSU when they were highly ranked in 2013 here in September. They had an early October game against Alabama 2015. But where this one comes on the calendar, very few people expected this to be as huge as it is, and people are excited, apprehensive, all those things.
Yeah, I'm still every once in a while kind of rubbing my eyes here, Seth. Like, wait, what is happening right now? Tennessee's number one. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Sure. It's been pretty wild. So much talk, Seth, of the Tennessee offense, and we're going to get into that matchup with Georgia's defense. But I do think some people are missing a little bit how good Georgia is offensively and has been. And you had a really interesting piece about sort of the loss to LSU and how, of course, you bring in Todd Monken and everything, but how really Kirby Smart's philosophy, though, also has changed, and we've seen tremendous results from that. Tell us just about this Georgia offense, how different it's been watching it the last couple of years as someone who's covered this program a long time.
Well, it's gradually improved so much that people haven't really appreciated it. People haven't given it enough credit. Georgia in yards per play ranks higher in offense this year than they do in defense. And in offense last year, they actually were pretty good too, but it was just overshadowed by how great the defense was. You referenced that 2019 SEC championship loss to LSU, which is, I guess you'd say, Alabama's 2020 offense was also generationally great. But the Tennessee one this year kind of has come out of nowhere the same way the LSU one did in 2019. And when Georgia went up against that, they got smoked in the SEC championship, like Joe Burrow and company did every opponent that year. And one of Kirby Smart's takeaways was that the best way to beat an offense like that is with another good offense, another great dynamic offense. And so they've gotten there. And, look, Georgia's defense is not going to hold Tennessee's offense in check on Saturday. It's just not. I mean, our definition of in check could depend. Like, does that mean 20 points? Does that mean 30? But it's probably going to come down to, beyond all the usual turnovers, special teams, X factors, whatever, probably come down to, like, whether Georgia's offense can outscore Tennessee's offense.
Well, and Seth, with that in mind, Tennessee's offense last year was dynamic. It was not as good as this one is heading into this game, but Georgia really the one team last year to totally shut them down. Tennessee started well in that game, and it didn't last very long. Georgia shut them down after that. What do you make of this Georgia defense, obviously with a lot of new pieces this year, and their chances to at least slow down Hendon Hooker in this Tennessee offense, which nobody's really been able to do thus far?
Yeah, slow down is probably a good way to put it. A bend but don't break. They have, and obviously last year is only precedent if you say that Georgia knew something. Like they saw something schematically that they're going to be able to take over to this year. I would be surprised if they saw something schematically that Alabama did not, and it didn't do Alabama any good this year because Tennessee's numbers against Alabama's defense went up a lot from 2021 to 2022, obviously. I think Georgia's still got a lot on defense. They still got a lot of talent. They still got a lot of five-stars. They're just less experienced. They have some stars in some spots, like Jalen Carter, if he can play even more. He played about 20 snaps against Florida after missing 2 games with a sprained knee. If he can play more snaps, maybe get up to 30, stay on the field for those drives where Tennessee is just pushing and not allowing the defense to sub. And I think Georgia's pretty solid in the back at safety, especially with Christopher Smith. So it strikes me that the approach from a simplistic standpoint is depend on your safeties to prevent the big play and depend on Jalen Carter and the defensive line without stacking the box to stop the run up the middle and contain Hooker from scrambling, and then take your chances in the back. Bend but don't break. Tennessee's going to make some plays, but don't let them have big plays and don't let them run on you. That, like I said, in kind of a simple sense, is probably the strategy. Will they be able to do that? I mean, who knows? Like I said, I think if you told Kirby Smart you're going to give up 31 points, he'd say, okay, I'll take that. I think my offense could do that. If you told him you're going to give up 24 points, he'd be thrilled.
Yeah, and then Nolan Smith, what's the significance there, Seth, of him being done for the season, for this game and beyond?
Yeah, potentially significant. It's not just so much his edge rushing ability. He only had 3 sacks, but Georgia doesn't have many sacks in general, but they don't depend on sacks to get pressure. They were getting pressure anyway. He just was a veteran leader on the defense. He was a senior as one of the 3 returning starters from last year's defense. Good in run contain, just the kind of stuff that you get out of a senior. They are able to replace him sort of with Robert Beal, who actually led the team in sacks last year. He's a 6th-year senior. He played most of the snaps when he's actually played more snaps than Smith this year at outside linebacker, because I think like a lot of teams that play a lot of nickel, you drop your outside linebacker for a lot of times. So I think especially against Tennessee, the potential was there anyway that they were only going to play one outside linebacker a lot of the time. So when they're able to play Robert Beal, you've still got an experienced guy, maybe not as explosive as Nolan Smith, but you're not out there with a freshman or a second-year guy. If there are times they have to play a second outside linebacker or sub for him, they're going to be bringing in younger players who in a few years are going to be really good players, but right now don't have that experience in this kind of a game at all.
Seth Emerson from The Athletic with us here on Robby and Rexrode. So, Seth, obviously Stetson Bennett last year silenced a lot of the doubters with obviously the season he had and winning the national championship. What have you made of his continued progression into this season and just his experience, everything he brings to the table leading Georgia into this game?
Yeah, he started this year great. Like with those first 3 games, he just looked spectacular, and the whole offense was taking it up a notch. You've seen a little bit more uneven from drive to drive. He had 2 interceptions against Florida, although the first one wasn't really his fault. He'll miss some throws here and there, but on the whole, he's still been very good. I mean, the offense is doing what it's doing, through someone's credit, and it's not just Brock Bowers. So he's playing very well. What's interesting is that the first 3 games, they went more on short and quicker passes, get the ball to playmakers and let them get a lot of yards after catch with some intermediate deep shots. But he's been playing without his best wide receiver, A.D. Mitchell, since essentially the first game, and that's affected the downfield game. Yet they've been trying to throw downfield more the last 5 games, almost like they were saying, we need to do this, so we're going to see if we can, because we think we're going to win this game, so let's try to do it. It sometimes is fitting a square peg into a round hole, but they're saying, we know we can throw short. We know we can throw the ball in a pinch to Darnell Washington or Brock Bowers or Kenny McIntosh out of the backfield. Let's see if we can get these other receivers involved in the passing game. I wonder whether against Tennessee, which has been susceptible to tight ends this year, and just in general not been great in pass defense, whether they say, yeah, we're going to keep attacking there, or whether they're also going to kind of lean on the short game a little bit more, which is tight ends, because they say, look, this is a game where we feel like we have to score every possession. So we're not going to try that square peg into a round hole by forcing it downfield if it's not there.
Seth, what do you think the playoff rankings say about this game and what it will mean for the loser of this game?
I have thought for a while that if Georgia is the loser, it's going to be really tough for them to make the playoffs. Losing at home, that's different. I know Alabama made the playoff in 2017 here. They beat Georgia in the national championship game as a non-division winner, but they lost at Auburn. Georgia would be losing at home, and I think them being number 3 right now is a reflection of their schedule. Other than Oregon, who they thumped, they don't have a ranked win. Now, that may change if South Carolina gets back in there. They have Kentucky and Mississippi State starting next 2 weeks. That'll help them more with ranked wins. But I think it's going to be tough for Georgia if they lose unless it's just this nail biter back and forth, and then you have carnage elsewhere in the country. Tennessee, I think, if they lose close, can still make it. They would need help the way Alabama did in 2017, because I think they were an 11-1 non-division winner, but they were competing with a bunch of 2-loss conference champs. I think they beat out Ohio State for that last spot, and they were a 2-loss Big Ten champ. So even Tennessee would need help, but not as much help as Georgia would need. And I think that was reflected in the rankings. I get amused at the explanation from the selection chair, Boo Corrigan. He's talking about this team, why this team's ahead of that team, and then it was kind of like circular logic. He would say one thing about one team, but it wouldn't apply to the other. Mm-hmm. I think ultimately it came down to they just did eye test. They just said Tennessee's looked the best, we're going to put them 1. Ohio State's looked the best after that, we're going to put them 2, and then Georgia looked the best after that, we're going to put them 3. And then they just kind of talked in circles to explain everything, and I think that ranking was defensible.
Seth Emerson, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Seth, great stuff as always. Thanks for taking time to being with us. Looking forward to this one coming up on Saturday between Tennessee and Georgia, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Seth Emerson,
Thanks,
our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on the Vols and the Bulldogs. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025, including some numbers that don't really have anything to do with the game itself, but I still think are going to blow your mind. We'll get to that coming up next as well. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. All you got to do is sign up with promo code ROB. Thursday night football action tonight. I got the Eagles on the money line. I've got Jalen Hurts as an anytime touchdown scorer running the football as well. But you can take it any way you want to take it. Just do it on FanDuel, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. They've got great live betting options that you can use for every game as well. So sign up today with promo code ROB for your no-sweat first bet. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as not withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
College football.
Touchdown, Georgia. Nice catch and move by Holden. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Lives here. Don't miss every exciting play each Saturday.
Into the end zone. Touchdown to the freshman Dane Key.
It's all presented by Twin Peaks, your home of 20-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and by Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The final matchup of the Tennessee basketball team's 3-game series with Colorado is coming to Nashville. Don't miss the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Colorado Buffaloes at Bridgestone Arena Sunday, November 13th. Be there to witness your Volunteers in action as they look to run their all-time record against Colorado to 5-0. Sunday, November 13th, Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Red Cap. Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey Nashville, it's Chef Phillip at Bar Lines at the Omni Hotel. Come try our new hot dog burn ends. Nathan's all beef hot dogs smoked over pecan wood, tossed in honey sriracha barbecue, topped with a cool crema and crisp spring onions. One of my favorites.
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
National Playmakers Academy with former Vols Bud Fitzgerald and James Stone, along with former Austin Peay Governor Vic Wright, offer one of the best football developmental organizations in the nation. MPA has over 30 NFL alumni, 800-plus college football scholarship signees, and 25 high school football All-Americans. If you have a student athlete in middle school or high school that is looking for the best football training and college football recruiting help around, contact National Playmakers Academy today, 615-456-2680, or email april.mpafootball@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, Big Joe here for Apple Collision Centers. And you know I'm always on the go, but the distraction that an automobile accident causes could even slow my pace down to a stop. But my friend and CEO of Apple Collision Centers, Stan Harrison, has a plan to get you and I back on the road and fast.
We at Apple Collision Centers know you deserve the best quality service. We always recommend original equipment parts, and we use only the best Sherwin-Williams finishes. 3 convenient locations, Hendersonville, Gallatin, and Oak Hickory. And you can always visit us online for your estimate needs at applecollisioncenters.com.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Tune in for the NFL pregame show this Sunday live from Twin Peaks at 6134 Galleria Boulevard in Cool Springs. Join Jared Stillman and former Titans wide receivers Chris Sanders and Derek Mason from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock prior to the Titans taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL pregame brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Superbook Sports, and Ounce of Hope Cannabis Company. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on this Thursday morning. So, Joe, I said I had some numbers for you that don't really have anything to do with the game itself, but are pretty intriguing. This is from Field Yates, and he put this out there, I think late yesterday afternoon, somewhere in that neighborhood. It says, quote, how huge is Saturday's game between number 1 Tennessee and number 3 Georgia? It's the most expensive ticket for a college football regular season game on record, according to some ticketing service that he uses. $197 was the get-in price before the season for Tennessee and Georgia. It's now at $626, the current get-in price, according to Field Yates.
Average get-in price.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
So
that is a bit mind-blowing. Yeah, it's a hot ticket.
Bypassing Ohio State and Michigan this year, which apparently currently is at $519.
Okay. Well, I'll be interested to see how many folks in orange find their way into that stadium. I tell you what, they showed up at LSU, but
they did.
LSU, especially at that point.
They showed up at Pitt too.
They showed up at Pitt, and although like at Pitt, there were another 10,000, 12,000 seats that anybody could have had.
Yep.
They had a very strong presence in Pittsburgh. And LSU at that time was not, the fan base wasn't excited. So Tennessee not only had a big section downstairs, they had a lot of the uppers. But what about this one? They sneaking in. You got to pay. If you're willing to pay, if you got the means, you can get in.
Look, I have a feeling there's going to be a pretty decent Tennessee contingent down there. Now, I will say, Kirby Smart has challenged his fan base this week. It's what he did. It's the first thing he talked about in his Monday press conference this week was, the Notre Dame game was really good last year, or whenever the heck they played Notre Dame at home. It's time to be better. Get in the seats earlier, all this stuff. They got the speech from Kirby Smart for this one. So Georgia fans have been challenged heading into this game.
I mean, they will be there.
They will be there.
Butts will be in seats.
There will be grown men
looking for the
barking.
I'm trying to think barking.
It will happen.
I'm
all
trying
over the place.
That took me a minute. I was like, what did he say?
A lot of barking going on.
Is that what they do? They actually just...
Have you never seen this? Oh, yeah. It's like
a little strange.
It's grown men in the stands just... Like, all right.
Really?
That's what y'all do?
I didn't know that.
Cool.
It's not nearly as cool as Woo Pig Suey.
A lot of people paint their face up as the bulldog with like the shoulder pads on.
And do that. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize
a lot of barking
that
going on down there.
Making dog noises.
Also some dog collars, and I've seen people have necklaces with bones on them.
Right, yeah.
Didn't feel like I'd be barking on the radio today, but yeah.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
A lot of interesting sounds we've had today on the radio, the program.
We have.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to think if crowd didn't affect him at LSU. First of all, like I said, Tennessee fans were there. Now, there were enough LSU fans there to make a difference, but that game was over like 5 seconds into the game. Like they were taken out of the game immediately, and it was a day game.
It was, and now there's
early game.
Look, it's going to be a raucous environment. You're going to go on silent count if you're Tennessee. Tennessee plays on silent count all the time, so that's not really much of a transition for them.
Right. They're kind of road atmosphere proof. Not totally, but I mean, again, like you have the build up to a play where the crowd can build that noise, And then, you're trying to do your silent count and everything. But Tennessee has snapped the ball seconds ago already. It's snapped, So it does minimize it a little bit. I think the best that they've seen would probably be the Pittsburgh game, even though, again, I was disappointed given what Pittsburgh did last year in the turnout for their fans for a ranked game in a perfect weather day. It was disappointing, and that's just the reality of that job, honestly, in a pro sports town. And there were a lot of Tennessee fans. But early on, when Pittsburgh was rolling and Tennessee was really doing not much, it was good. I mean, it was a good, hostile atmosphere. It's not going to compare to the noise Saturday in Athens or the atmosphere, but I don't think it bothers them too much. I mean, it's basically what bothers you is when the other team makes a big play and you feel that, that can demoralize you, right? When an entire packed stadium lined up against you is celebrating.
I mean, there are former Vols saying that, going down to Georgia and playing between the hedges is really not that big a deal. Like Eric Ainge said yesterday on Twitter. He said that playing between the hedges is overrated. It's not that loud, definitely not intimidating. It's nothing like playing in Neyland. Vols will be just fine in Athens. It's from Eric Ainge yesterday, and I was like,
so Josh Heupel's like, thanks, Eric.
Yeah, appreciate you, Eric.
Well, first of all, I think these are my favorite two stadiums. I haven't been to every SEC stadium, but I would say Neyland and Sanford are my favorite too. Neyland is better at capturing noise, keeping noise in the way it's built than Sanford is. It's a little, it's more open, so maybe that's part of what he's talking about. But I mean, come on, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good Saturday.
Kay from Hendersonville on the text line says, I was in the band at South Carolina when Georgia came to Columbia. We had 1 million grown men barking. Georgia fans are just weird. That's from Kay from Hendersonville on the text line.
I honestly
you have to look out for it. A lot of barking going to be going on Saturday. You should get down there and join them a little bit.
So again,
we don't meow.
Meow. There's a little bit of meow going on last Saturday at Neyland Stadium, but that's okay.
There definitely was not.
It's sad meow.
It's sad. Yeah, so this isn't like the Arsenio Hall, so it's like whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like rawr, rawr.
Yeah. Look, they do it on the kickoff, that the whole stadium does that. But there's
– how have I not – I mean, I've been to several Georgia games. How have I not noticed
You're going to notice people barking everywhere now. It's all they do down there.
I mean, I've been at that place, open air. I mean, I remember 2018 when Jeremy Pruitt cried after the game. It's the last time I was there.
I forgot about that.
We were so close. And they lost by like 30 or whatever.
You should go down in the stands and get a video of the barking.
Maybe I will. Well, what if I go down there and they're down 25? There probably won't be a lot of it.
Maybe some angry barking going on. I don't know.
Peeing on fire hydrants.
I mean, Garrison points out, Woo Pig Suey, like the hog calling competitions. You can find a lot of things in the SEC between Woo Pig Suey calling the hogs.
That's cool.
And now barking with Georgia.
Yeah,
you can find some things
like the Woo Pig Suey. That is cool. That's a call. That's a chant, though. Like that's a chant. Like, if you're gonna do this, you can't just randomly bark, right? Like don't you come up with some kind of a like a Scooby Doo thing? I don't know.
Or like who let the dogs out and then
okay,
do the barking?
Sure. You got that? Yeah.
I want you to pay attention to something on Saturday, regardless of how the game goes. Just pay attention to how many people who are dressed like Kirby Smart, grown men wearing visors out there, also start barking in the crowd at Sanford Stadium.
This is going to trip me up from covering the game effectively because now I'm just going to be obsessed with this.
Joe, just start barking at people.
I wish you didn't tell
me. How many people are barking out there? What's going on? 615-737-1025. We'll continue the discussion on Tennessee and Georgia. Got some of your thoughts to get to on the matchup coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Saturday night.
Pass comes right in front and sliding across, making the stop. UC Saros.
UC Saros and the Nashville Predators head to Vancouver to take on the Canucks. Pre-game at 8, face-off at 9 on your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hey, it's Eddie George. You know we all have crazy busy lives and don't take time to research car insurance, right? Well, you don't have to. Xander Insurance does all the work for you. Their system shops over 15 top companies to find you the best rates, and they keep shopping every year. Their clients have saved an average of $600. That's why I'm a client. Xander gives me more options. More options means more savings. Get free quotes at XanderInsurance.com or call 800-356-1780.
Need cash for the holidays or to pay off credit cards right now? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. This is great. You can keep your low mortgage rate and still get cash out. That's right. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low rate. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will come your way, and it only costs you around $300 a month. Use that money to pay off whatever bills you have, credit cards, consolidate other debt, or start a home improvement project. With Loan Pronto, you can access up to 95% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need the appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Do it now before the holidays. Call Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Well, I'm a orthopedic surgeon, board certified.
Meet Dr. John Herzog, who's certainly done his share of knee and hip replacements. But these days, he's encouraging his patients to look at regenerative medicine options, now available at QC Kinetics.
I'm kind of the anti-surgeon right now, and a lot of my buddies, if they hear me talking, they're going to give me a call.
Dr. Herzog says advances in regenerative medicine can give your achy joints lasting relief, using highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
We take the fluid out of you, we concentrate it, and put it in an area where they couldn't normally get to and facilitate healing.
Are you suffering from constant pain due to arthritis or injury? Maybe it's time to look at alternatives to drugs and surgery at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in these exciting treatments.
What could be more natural than using your own body to heal yourself?
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024.
OrderGreen.com. You know them by now. They're my only choice for high-quality THC and CBD products, and they're delivered right to my doorstep. Hey, folks, Joe Rexrode here. Yes, you heard that right. OrderGreen.com will send cannabis products right to you with discreet same-day shipping. OrderGreen.com has been great for me. Just what I need during this busy time of year. Takes the edge off physically, mentally. Terrific products. And if you use promo code Joe20, you're going to get 20% off your first purchase at OrderGreen.com. Do you have a subscription to OrderGreen.com? It'd be a lot cooler if you did. You won't be able to tell if you're in Colorado or Tennessee. Trust me. That's OrderGreen.com.
TSU football lives here.
On Saturday, the TSU Tigers continue OVC play against SEMO. Coverage begins at 4:30 on your home for TSU football. 94.9 The Fan.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune into this Sunday's NFL Game of the Week on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. This week's game will feature the Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Jets at noon. The NFL Game of the Week brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue and Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezevic are with you. Joe just got done watching a grown man calling hogs and a, like, what do you have on his head?
Big corn cob on his head. Thanks, Garrison. We've actually seen that before. It's amazing. It is an amazing pig calling display of excellence. Thank you, Garrison.
People barking all over the place. Jeff in Kingston Springs says, several years ago, my sister and I went down to Athens for a Tennessee game. A few hours before the game, we went into a local restaurant wearing our Tennessee orange. As we're walking to our table, the entire restaurant, in unison, began barking loudly. It was pretty awesome, really. This is from Jeff in Kingston Springs.
Just like
I mean, it's gonna be barking everywhere.
Yeah, like they bark. I mean, I need to know like the nuances here. Like,
I mean, by the way, have you ever seen a bulldog bark? It's pretty funny.
Very rare. My sister. Yeah, I mean, my sister had a bulldog, and it's not
out of breath.
Yeah, it's I know, like exhausted after walking across the floor. Walking across the room, and not many sounds. So yeah, like, are you trying to do bulldog sounds or just any dog sounds?
Don't know.
Georgia fans, let us know.
I can't believe you've not seen this. Like, this is
I can't either. This shows you what it's. Yeah, it's like what Katie says sometimes. Like, you're a journalist and you don't like notice crap that's right in front of your face. How's that work, dude? Like, yeah, it's a fair point by you. I don't know. Like I told you, I'm going to
see it everywhere on Saturday.
I'm going to get so much video of this now.
Nate on the text line says, it seems like other teams have lost Hyatt over the top a lot. I think Kirby will say, give the plays over the middle underneath, but nothing over the top. Do you think they'll double Hyatt with a safety no matter what?
No.
Seems like teams have tried to do that, but for some reason have failed.
You can't. I mean, you can't double anyone.
No.
I mean, you really can't. If you double, like the way, again, you can do different stuff if your pass rush is going to get there, and maybe Jalen Carter inside blows this game up, and Tennessee hasn't seen that this year. I mean, that's to me, that's like even Seth's and he's right, but his point of the plan is stop the run and all this stuff, and I get that, but like I got to see that to believe it based on the numbers that Tennessee dictates with their offense. And again, you can talk about doubling this, doubling that. They'll take 5-6 yards, and then little yak, and you get 10-12. Now maybe against Georgia, it's not as much, right? I mean, this is where elite 5-stars all over the field should help Georgia, but like they'll take the quick, easy access throws all day, if that's how you're going to do it. Like we were talking about earlier, like we were talking about yesterday, the Alabama trying to keep a post safety back for stuff, which is sort of like for example, technically on one play, it was an attempt to double Hyatt. They had a safety in the middle of the field. But if your safety in the middle of the field doesn't get over and then you get blown by, well, then you have no coverage on Jalen Hyatt, and he scores a touchdown. Also now that safety has no help for the run game. It's a bind. I mean, Seth mentioned 31 or 24 points. Yes. Kirby, if you can pick 31 right now, jump on it. Jump on it and hug it and pet it like a little bulldog, because that is what you want, man. Take that. I have my doubts. Now, look, Georgia could win a shootout. I think they're both getting into the 40s.
Well, Tennessee runs the ball for 200 yards a game. That's the part about this team that nobody likes talking about. Like, everybody's focused in on Hooker and Hyatt and Tillman and all these guys, and I get it. I understand why. But that's, to me, why Tennessee's offense is as successful as it is. When it's not there and they don't have the shot, they just run the ball. Like, they get up. How many times have we seen them 1st and 10, you pick up 8 yards, it's 2nd and 2, you run up quick, you hand the ball off, you pick up 6, it's right back, you're keeping up with the change, you're going again. Like, that's what they do. And they've been shut down in the running game one time this year. It was against Pittsburgh. That's what Pittsburgh does. We've talked about that. And the Doozer joining us on the program. He's got him figured out in the running game. But other than that, nobody's done it. Nobody's figured it out. Like, nobody's been able to stop their running game so far this year.
And again, now that this is with Narduzzi, it's what they do. Quarters, it's what he's been doing. I mean, he did it at Michigan State, and Urban made his staff copy their defense because they beat him in the Big Ten championship game. He's been doing it forever. It's super aggressive. But when you're used to that stuff, then you at least, like, you have usually pretty good coverage downfield, and you force a perfect throw. And, again, Tennessee still got them enough. They could have killed them. Tennessee could have killed Pittsburgh the last 2 years if they just execute. But, again, at least those defenses said, okay, I have a defender in the area, so make a perfect throw. Lately, we're just saying,
arm punts.
Oh, there goes Jalen Hyatt, right? I don't think you're going to see it against Georgia. Now, will Georgia come close? Look, if Jalen Carter can blow up the interior and mess up their run game, then that's a big thing.
He's a good player.
He's a very good player. But also remember this with Tennessee's run game, and this is where this is just Baylor's offense is inaccurate. They've got zone and gap stuff. They got pin and pull stuff. They've got a lot of different run schemes that Alex Golesh has worked hard. And a lot of RPO stuff, of course. And Hendon Hooker's good at that. It's a lot of RPO. Sometimes you get in trouble. You give Alabama a touchdown.
Yep.
For the most part, I mean, have they had any other mix-ups with that? I think all their other fumbles are just, well, basically Jalen Wright getting the ball ripped out of his hands, right?
That's about it.
So they execute the RPO stuff so well, too, that they just look at your numbers. Oh, he's down? Okay, we'll do this. Oh, he's back? Okay, we'll do this. Hey, if Georgia comes in and does a great job in this offense and slows them down, man, tip the cap.
Well, that's the other thing about this, too, that is hard for the defense. Like, if you want to disguise things, number one, it's hard to do just with the way Tennessee lines up, but that's when the speed comes in. Like, if you let them get going and they're able to get to the line of scrimmage, you can't disguise anything. You got to get lined up and get ready. That's the thing. There's not much disguising or fooling of this offense that you can do because you're in a race to get lined up with the way Tennessee moves.
Right.
That's part of why they do it.
So, again, back to, the first down thing, which is something that, like, I hadn't really thought about much, when, like, Narduzzi and some of these other guys telling me, these other D coordinators I talked to, it's like, first down's the only time you can do it. You can try to do something. But it's so hard to disguise anything when they're stretched to the sideline.
Exactly.
They're all the way over here. And also, as Dave McGinnis said, too, it's like, and this didn't get in the story, but he's like, you can play zone. You can play different zones, but it's not like your zone that you think of where, like, you're dropping into a zone because they're over there. You basically have to, even if you're playing zone, you're playing man. You're matching up in the zone and you're playing man. So, I mean, the one thing about this offense that I do think we should see more is using the width of the field. Like, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And like it's such a no-brainer of what it does to a defense.
Especially, I mean, you can do it in college.
Right.
You can't do it in the NFL.
Right.
It needs to be done. I don't think there's any question. We've started some things on the text line. Ryan from Chicago on the text line says, this has been a deeply disturbing 9 o'clock hour. Elliot says, as a Florida fan, this weekend's going to be tough, but I'm hoping UT beats the brakes off Georgia, stupid barking idiots. And Randy on the text line says, Georgia should, quote, call the dogs. They could all whistle and yell, here, boy, come on, good doggy.
Nice.
We've started some things on the text line.
Hey, Ryan, you should have listened to 6 o'clock hour. We were ripping you the whole hour, bud. We'll send you the podcast of it.
Oh, man.
Michelle's like, don't get me in trouble. Hello? Are you muted?
No, I was just laughing.
Yo, Ryan, if I make a joke that makes you laugh, you should go ahead and open up the mic.
On.
I mean, Ryan Porthwood, I was like,
yeah, but sometimes when I laugh, there's a snort in there, and that's not going over the air.
Oh,
Sorry.
those are great. Oh, I love the snort laugh.
Hey?
Do dogs snort laugh?
Do bulldogs?
They snort for sure, right? They make a lot of really gross sounds.
They do. Dustin on the text line says, I feel like you're more apt to hang with them containing Hyatt and letting them run. I'll be damned if Hyatt gets over 115 yards on my team. So, like, just focusing in on Hyatt. But that's the thing. Like, it's hard to do that in this offense.
You can, if you want to, but again, you're telling me like Cedric Tillman this week. I bet you he looks more like Cedric Tillman.
I bet he does.
And that's the guy who before was like, oh, you can't let him kill you. And Brew McCoy,
it's pretty good.
One of these games, he's also going to have a huge game.
Well, he already has.
He has. Yeah, he's been a little bit quiet lately. Look, you're in a bind. You're in a bind. You need to. I mean, don't let it go over your head in general. And then red zone. I mean, again, the red zone probably, to me, determines this game. If there's not some huge turnover or huge, return or something. I mean, the red zone, both ways, probably determines this game.
615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the Vols, the Titans, the Predators, everything on the table. Got lots to get to coming up next at 615-737-1025. But first, Michelle Knezovic has a word from Superbook Sportsbook.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Robby. And speaking of this Tennessee-Georgia game, Georgia favored by 8 points. But listen, I think this game is going to be a close one, decided by 1 or 3 points. So give me Tennessee plus the 8, and I think you can do an anytime touchdown from Jalen Hyatt. You can do over on passing from Hendon Hooker. You could also do over on passing for Stetson Bennett as well. But listen, this time of year right now, it's not just football going on. They've got everything going on. And Superbook wants to let you know that you can bet on basketball, hockey, postseason baseball, and soon enough, the World Cup. And there's no better place to wager on all of that than Superbook Sports. When you sign up, deposit, and wager all on the same day, Superbook will give you a bonus up to $1,000. When the sports world is busy, it is busy to get winning some money, the best type of busy. So all you got to do is just download the Superbook Sportsbook app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
from the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. After a foggy start in some spots the afternoon, mainly sunny and even warmer than yesterday. High temperatures mid to upper 70s. That continues for tomorrow. Next rain chance going to be Saturday afternoon into Sunday.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Have you seen the selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches they now have at Genesis Diamonds? If not, prepare to be amazed.
If people really know the watch world, they come in and they're in shock. They're like, I cannot believe you have this selection here. They're able to see them, touch them, feel them.
Meet Genesis watch expert Charlie Rivers, who says over the past few years, Genesis buyers have scoured the world to build a collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, including all the hard-to-find models.
Daytonas, Pandas, Sky Dwellers, a huge selection of Submariners, Hulks, Kermits, anything that you could ever possibly want. We have every luxury pre-owned Rolex that we have here. We ensure that it's in pristine condition.
So come in today and find the timepiece of your dreams at Genesis. Or if you already own a Rolex and are looking to trade for a different model or even sell it, Genesis can help you get top dollar.
If you have a Rolex, definitely bring it in. I would love to see it and do a complimentary evaluation on it and see what we can do for you.
Genesis Diamonds, now with one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Fall means cooler weather is coming. Make sure your family is warm in your home with this special deal from Hiller. This month, take advantage of Hiller's Happy HVAC Comfort Bundle, which includes an HVAC replacement, germicidal UV light, extended 10-year warranty, and you'll get a free solo smokeless stove. Or get a free solo stove with a new whole home generator or whole home water filtration and de-escalator. Plus, Hiller is offering 0 interest for up to 12 months on these purchases. Hiller's work is backed by the Happy You'll Be Your Services Free guarantee. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Informative.
They played a lot of power play time together back in the day.
Insightful.
It's a great addition to this team.
And just 3 guys being dudes.
On the sideline in shorts and a t-shirt.
Hanging out, watching the game.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2.
No such thing as bad press.
On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Out for it. A lot of barking going to be going on Saturday. You should get down there and join them a little bit.
So, okay. So, again.
We don't meow.
Meow.
Okay, so this isn't like the Arsenio Hall, so it's like, woof, woof, woof. It's like, rawr, rawr.
Yeah. Like, I mean, look, they do it on the kickoff. That the whole stadium does that. But there's...
How have I not... I mean, I've been to several Georgia games. How have I not noticed
You're going to notice people barking everywhere now. It's all they do down there.
Like a Scooby-Doo thing. I don't know.
I want you to pay attention to something on Saturday, regardless of how the game goes. Just pay attention to how many people who are dressed like Kirby Smart, grown men wearing visors out there, also start barking in the crowd at Sanford Stadium.
This is going to trip me up from covering the game effectively because now I'm just going to be obsessed with this. Just like
people be barking everywhere.
Yeah, like they bark.
I mean, by the way, have you ever seen a bulldog bark? It's pretty funny.
Very rare. My sister. Yeah, I mean, my sister had a bulldog, and it's not
out of breath.
Yeah, it's I know, like exhausted after walking across the floor.
This has been a very scary 9 o'clock hour here on the program.
Yeah,
a lot of barking going on out there.
Ryan from Chicago may have a point. Now, why do you force me to endure immediate embarrassment about what we're doing here in this studio?
Ryan texts me and goes, did I just hear Joe meow? What is happening?
Look, we're not the ones that make the rules here. We didn't start the barking. We just pointed it out. It happens down there.
True.
This is almost as bad as the Brian Kelly did. I'll say. Remember that was like 4 hours of doing.
God bless the SEC. Yeah. There's so much content.
Seriously. It's amazing.
Oh, man. Make sure you join Big Joe Dubin and Elijah Campbell tomorrow for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy from 6 to midnight. They'll preview the big games and then take you through the night of high school football around the Mid-State. It's the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Will from Nashville on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, easy on the UGA dogs barking, guys. This from a duo who are massive fans of a team whose fight song is played incessantly, includes a very, very high-pitched woo every 5 minutes. It's horrendous. This from Will from Nashville, a duo who are massive fans of Rocky Top.
Really? Well, let's see.
Joe.
So wait a minute. Okay, I want to make sure.
And Rocky Top Rob.
Sometimes I need to look at history. So Will. Oh, by the way, Will, thank you for your kind words about my rant earlier. And Will has also been to DeKalb. But I need to go back for your history and see if you're a big Vanderbilt fan. Is Will a big Vanderbilt fan?
He is.
Okay. Yep. I hate your team, and I love the team you hate. Hey, I have made fun of the woo. Okay.
He has.
I don't even know what Georgia's fight song is. Do they like in the break? Do they go in the middle of the fight song?
I don't know. Tyler points out on the text line the Georgia fans specifically bark at opposing fans. They don't bark at each other or random passersby. So if you're
great,
keep that makes it better. Keep your orange away.
They only bite the leg of and pee on opposing fans.
That would be absolutely terrifying if people did that.
Just, this is so dumb.
Got a texter that points out correctly. The only radio show in town where you can get barking on the airwaves. Only program that's going to be doing this, I can tell you.
You know, we put a lot out there today. What I would like is an analysis of everything that maybe could be done in #Jared's Film Room. Can we weave him in here somehow?
I'm just looking forward to this game coming up on Saturday.
Let's talk about the game.
Well, I'm just looking forward to it, and I think I'm looking forward to it even more now that I know that I may have just ruined your game day experience because all you're going to do now is, Ubbin, you got the game, right? Because I'm going to walk around in stands and just see how many people are barking.
I mean,
see ya.
Well, I think I am going to go on the field now, which isn't like that's not like I don't do that every game because it's kind of a hassle. It's like, is it worthwhile or not? Sometimes it's like if there's a particular player injured or something, it's worth doing that. But I think I actually am going to walk around the field before the game now and just see if I can just see, like some of these fans just barking at Tennessee players and stuff. Like rather than, rip them or like, some fan bases will find out like what a player's girlfriend's name is or something. Yeah. They're just like, trying to.
It's an intimidating place down there at Sanford Stadium. Oh, man.
Woo! Yeah.
Man, if Georgia wins by a lot, there are going to be a lot of people calling in on Monday barking.
Oh, they will be. The fan duo, calling up this fan duo show.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Bryant from Memphis says, when does John Hines really go on the hot seat? Has he lost the room? I think he has. He's not lost the room.
Nah, he hasn't lost the room.
I think that is one of the
easy thing to say.
I think that's one of the most overrated things in sports, over-discussed thing in sports is losing the room. Does that happen? Yes, it does happen in pro sports. I can tell you that he has not lost the room. Now, I will say this, and I said this yesterday. It's the NHL, and this team, to me, should have higher expectations than they've had the last couple of years, and right now they're a bad hockey team. So if that continues for much longer, it's pro sports. It's the NHL. He'll be on the hot seat at some point if this continues for much longer. So I'm not saying that those discussions aren't going to be valid, but I don't buy into the losing the room thing.
Nah. I mean, so yesterday, Jared versus Joe, we were talking about Hines and all this stuff, and Jared forced me to. Okay, fine, let's give him an F this year. I'll give him an F, Jared. But Jared was like, he hasn't lost the room. And he said something like, they're still playing for him or something. It's like, first of all, no, they're not playing for him. I mean, what in pro sports do players play for their coach? I mean, I guess you could say like look at Vrabel and the Titans at times, and I mean, I think he motivates them and everything, and they believe in him.
Aren't you playing for yourself?
You're playing
your teammates.
Yeah, you're playing for your teammates. Sure. I mean, if you like your coach, playing for your coach too. But this idea that it's like all hinging on a coach either having the team behind him or not, him or her or not, is just I never really understood that. He hasn't lost the room, but if they're not executing what he's trying to get through to them, then he's not being effective, right?
Sure.
So look, we know what the NHL is. It's the most coach firing happy league that we have on this continent. So do another 3-6-1 or whatever, and it'll be a growing discussion.
I'm interested to see what roster moves made today. They waived Kiefer Sherwood yesterday. I would assume at some point there will be a transaction today, I assume, of somebody coming up from Milwaukee. Doesn't sound like it's going to be Philip Tomasino based on the conversation we had with John Hines, so interested to see what happens on that front. But, Joe, I mean, you're 3-6-1. You're 1-6-1 in your past 8, and you're taking on a Calgary Flames team tonight in their building that has a ton of ability and who, by the way, just kind of let one get away from him the other night as well against the Kraken. So, I mean, this is a tough one for the Predators tonight. I mean, they're underdogs in this game, pretty heavy underdogs in this game on the FanDuel Sportsbook. You need to find a way to dig yourself out of this if you're the Predators. And he talked about puck decisions. I think a lot of it's that, but it's also you're just playing better defensively as a five-man unit. It's not just the defensive pairings. And by the way, he said something else in that interview that I feel like is a broken record at this point. Talking about Carrier and Fabro needing to be better. I mean, we've been talking about that, especially with Fabro, for 2 years. To me, he's kind of in Ellie Tolvanen range with me. Like, it's you either are or you're not.
Right.
Like, we're getting to that point with Fabro. I think we're there.
Right. And then if you want to look a little bit more big picture, not necessarily Carrier, but especially Fabro, Tolvanen, Tomasino. These are the guys who are supposed to be leading the way of the new era,
the next wave.
And it's not looking good right now. I want to go back to one quick Dennis text from earlier.
Okay.
Because I forgot to give Dennis props for this. He said, Jared's saying he watched the film and here's his analysis is like your auto mechanic saying, hey, I checked out your medical charts and I think you need open heart surgery. I didn't say it. I'm not saying people are just saying it, okay? Also, John says that we should change this to The Simpsons because there's a lot of Homer talk on this show.
Really? What are we Homers about?
Apparently about the Vols.
Well, they're undefeated and the number one team in the country.
What are you
talking about?
I feel like we've been talking about how good Georgia is too. Have we not been?
We'll get to our picks tomorrow, but
I feel like Georgia fans are a little bit bristly.
I think there's a good chance Tennessee's going to lose this game, but
listen, I talked to Tennessee.
I can't wait to see what you pick.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what I pick.
And I got called the Tennessee Homer, and we all know that is not true.
Yeah, but you kind of do love the Vols a little bit. You are a little bit Kneza Vol.
I was crying in Neyland when they beat Kentucky. I'm not a Tennessee Homer.
Well, people can change.
I got a text that says Georgia grad here. The barking is over-exaggerated. Only a few do it, similar to throwing trash on the field at Knoxville. Nice shot. Regardless, I'm looking forward to the dogs saying, y'all must have forgot on Saturday. Interesting. I enjoyed the trash talk between Tennessee and Georgia fans.
I do too. So you're and seriously though, with this texter, so you're saying that it's just totally rando drunk students who are doing this every once in a while. This isn't some kind of coordinated fan thing.
This is not the drunk students thing. Like, that happens. Like, just go watch a Georgia game on CBS. You will find a grown man your age barking in the crowd. You will find it. So you can tell me, like, it's over-exaggerated. I mean, it happens all the time. I see it. It's on TV. Happens all over the place.
I'm very intrigued by this.
I'm interested to see what happens. I've totally ruined your game day experience on Saturday. That's going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. The Preds playing tonight. We'll continue to look ahead to Tennessee and Georgia, and a big one for the Titans this weekend coming up in Kansas City. All that on the table. Chase, Willie, and D-Mace up next. This is 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You love the game.
Predators win it in overtime. Down, Tennessee.
We live the game.
My quarterback needs me to step up.
He can make a defense pay.
We are.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome Game 7.
What a stop made by UC